trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump spoke at an emotional hours-long memorial for Charlie Kirk before a jam-packed State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona.
I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history.
Kirk's widow, Erica, preached love.
He wanted to save young men, just like the one who took his life.
Erica Kirk told supporters she's forgiven her husband's assassin. During his speech, President Trump teased an administration announcement today on autism.
Because obviously there was something really wrong, and we think we know what that is. I think it's going to be one of the most important news conferences I'll ever have, and I look so forward to it.
The Washington Post says officials are ready to tie the risk of autism to women who take Tylenol while they're pregnant. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
I spoke to a researcher who was part of a major study published just last year that followed 2.5 million children in Sweden over 25 years. He said, use of acetaminophen, which is the active ingredient in Tylenol, during pregnancy was not associated with an increased risk of autism in children.
President Trump is directing his attorney general to get a move on and step up prosecutions of his political enemies, like former FBI Director James Comey. CBS's Willie James Inman from the White House.
Over the weekend, we saw President Trump put pressure on Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice to go after what he sees as his political enemies, saying that the Department of Justice should look into them and adding that justice must be served.
More countries are lining up to recognize Palestinian statehood.
With world leaders poised for this week's UN General Assembly meeting.
The United Kingdom formally recognizes the state of Palestine.
Britain joining Portugal, Canada, and Australia, with France expected to add its endorsement at a UN conference later today. A majority of UN members now insisting the two-state solution is the only path to lasting Middle East peace. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
The Jewish High Holy Days begin this evening, and Los Angeles police chief says they will increase patrols around synagogues and Jewish community centers in response to a rise in anti-Semitic attacks across the country. Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, begins at sundown. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, ends at nightfall on October 2nd. Dow futures are down 141. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit progressive.com today.
At 6:03, we have a cloudy sky, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. Will National Guard troops be descending on St. Louis?
Governor Mike Kehoe, in a statement to KMOX, says there is no plan currently to utilize the National Guard to address crime in Missouri, but is keeping their options open. Mayor Kara Spencer says she does not want to see the National Guard involved directly in crime fighting.
I am very confident in our police department and the work that we're doing here locally to make our city a safer place. You can see that that's been very effective by the crime stats.
Mayor Kara Spencer says if they are deployed here, they would help make St. Louis safer by assisting in the tornado debris removal. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Last week, President Trump said he is considering deploying the National Guard to St. Louis after sending troops to Memphis. He mentioned Memphis, Chicago, and St. Louis as cities he wants to save.
2 men are facing multiple felony charges after they were caught stealing from a tornado-damaged building. 49-year-old DeAndre Smith, 34-year-old Rathan Robinson were arrested earlier this month at a vacant apartment building on Savoy Court. St. Louis police say the two were caught in the act of stealing copper piping. That building was heavily damaged by the May tornado, and the police department says these types of thefts are delaying recovery efforts for the area.
And Illinois' controversial gun ban goes back to court today.
An appeals court will hear oral arguments from the state as to why the law should remain in place. The opposition is none other than the U.S. Department of Justice. The feds agree with a district court last year that called the ban unconstitutional. The law passed 2 years ago, banning dozens of semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines. It also required owners of the guns at the time to register them. Whatever the outcome at this appeals level, the case is still expected to end up at the Supreme Court. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
We have to really get back to obsessing about literacy, about numeracy.
His name is Ted Dabrowski, a conservative researcher who wants to be the next Republican governor of Illinois. One of his big concerns, the low literacy rates among students in Illinois.
That means, getting parent engagement again, having high expectations. We've gotten away from high expectations. We've gotten away from focusing on reading and math, and we're doing all kinds of things in schools that have nothing to do with learning, that have more to do with indoctrination and cultural issues.
Dabrowski already has competition. There are 4 other Republicans who have announced their candidacy, including Darren Bailey, the former state senator and nominee for governor in 2022.
KMOX continues following developments with the Jefferson County Council poised to pass a law temporarily banning swimming in the Big River at Rockford Beach.
It has taken several years and deaths to come to this point. This year, there was 1 drowning and 3 near drownings. Something High Ridge Fire Chief John Barton tells KMOX needs to happen.
The ban that was discussed before was a permanent ban, and we weren't necessarily even opposed to that, but that's not what we were advocating for from a public safety standpoint. A couple years later, there's now some projects underway with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and there's a pretty good chance that that will result in that dam being removed.
And Barton adds, the hope is that will change the river conditions enough so that Rockford Beach can be as safe as a river can be. Tonight, the Jefferson County Council is expected to advance the bill for passage. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Todd Schnook last week told KMOX his family likely isn't done acquiring other family-owned grocery chains after picking up Festival Foods of Wisconsin. Who could be next? KMOX's Michael Calhoun called up Bert Flickinger, a consultant who these companies hired to size up their would-be acquisitions.
Might Schnooks still have a war chest to go out after other groceries with?
Michael Schnook still has a war chest, and it's a very important question you're asking. Festival is the crown jewel company of all the many family-owned and operated businesses in the north central states. So Festival, as you presently pointed out in the beginning, Michael, it's the first of many. And because they were able to convince Festivals, a family and ESOP-owned company, that means many more family and ESOP-owned companies will come to Schnucks and potentially sell. And one potentially could be Coburn's out of St. Cloud, Minnesota. Chris Coburn and his family run a fantastic company.
ESOP means Employee Stock Ownership Plan. Flickinger says Schnucks and other local grocers are well positioned as food costs rise and people eat out less often, but still want fresher meat, for instance, than you'd find at a Walmart.
Well, speaking of food, what happens to the federal hunger count? We've got an update on that after we check traffic and weather at 6:08.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10, time for us to get you updated on traffic and weather. It was kind of wet overnight, although in downtown St. Louis, it doesn't look like it's raining at the moment. We'll get you the latest from AccuWeather after we check in with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, roads could be a little damp. I mean, the places I've been looking, I can tell there's a sheen on the roadway. So like you said, I don't think there's any rain coming down right now of any consequence anyway. But the roads can still be slippery, so be careful. We do have a new injury crash in Jefferson County on Highway 110 at 21. Emergency crews are arriving on the scene to deal with that. Northbound 67, a backup at Double C. Once you get on to 55, it's slow. McNutt up to the Joachim Creek, and the right lanes are busy. Butler Hill up to the North 270 ramp. Looks like we'll check and see if there's a problem there. And they've had a second crash now, eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge. It's east of Barack Obama Avenue. Those left lanes are now shut down because there's been a second crash. The first one was an overturned truck. So just watch it, but so far no significant delays, just a short backup eastbound through there. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Plenty of clouds and rather humid today with scattered showers and a thunderstorm, particularly during the morning hours and especially from the city south and east, the high 81. Partly cloudy early tonight, then mostly cloudy late, those 66. Mostly cloudy and humid tomorrow with a spotty afternoon thunderstorm, high 81. Wednesday will be cloudy and not as warm with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, high 74. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 65 in Florissant, 66 in St. Peter's, and we have a little sprinkle in the city, 65 degrees, but otherwise cloudy downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. What are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 6:12. The annual Household Food Security Report done annually by the U.S. Department of Agriculture has been terminated. The official release from the USDA says the report is costly, politicized, and does nothing but fearmonger. It states that it was created by the Clinton administration only to increase SNAP eligibility and, quote, is nothing more than subjective liberal fodder.
Those who feed the hungry disagree. Kristen Wild, president and CEO of Operation Food Search, says the data collected has guided all levels of government and nonprofits in their work to allocate food resources and meet community needs. She says canceling the research doesn't cancel hunger. It just makes it harder to clearly see the challenges and address them. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that 150,000 Missourians and 472,000 Illinoisans will lose assistance, numbers largely made up of disabled and elderly people, the working poor, veterans, and children.
If you've gone grocery shopping, you probably have noticed that prices are continuing to rise. CBS News Los Angeles reporter Amanda Starantino has more.
An Associated Press poll shows more than half of Americans say grocery costs are a major source of stress. Economists point to drought, tariffs, and supply chain shortages as drivers. And with beef prices leading the surge right now, ground beef up nearly 13%, families are forced to stretch every dollar.
Police in Maryland Heights are investigating an attack on the Fifi Greenway. It happened Saturday morning just before 9. Police didn't disclose whether the victim was injured, but say the assailant did not use a weapon. They're asking anyone who might have been on the trail Saturday morning to call police if they saw anything. The suspect is described as a white man in his late 20s or early 30s who was wearing a dark jacket, khaki shorts, and a baseball cap.
The sounds of former Illinois Governor Jim Edgar's casket being carried out of the church where hundreds came to pay their last respects, including current Governor J.B. Pritzker and former Governor Pat Quinn. Legislators, public officials, and judges walked over from the governor's mansion to attend Saturday services. Governor Edgar will be remembered for working across the aisle for the good of Illinois. Governor Edgar was 79 years old.
Call of the Game brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Before the game started, before the first pitch, Ollie Marmol went out to take out Nolan Arenado.
And on a walk out to the field, Oliver Marmol, before Matthew Liberatore can throw a first pitch. The infielders are gathering around Matthew Liberatore and Oliver Marmol. Coming over from third base, Nolan Arenado. Arenado is being hugged by his teammates on the infield, and he will get to say his goodbye for this season to the St. Louis Cardinals home fans as Arenado jogs off the field, and Nolan Gorman will come out to take the spot at third as Arenado tips his cap to the crowd at Busch Stadium. With Arenado going down the steps of the first base dugout, congratulated by his teammates there. Gorman comes out to play third base. Oliver Marmol stopped by the home plate umpire, the crew chief James Hoy, to inform him of the change. And we are getting set for the first pitch thrown by Matthew Liberatore today to Jackson Churio.
So the fans acknowledging Arenado, what a nice moment that was. I love seeing the Brewers all on the top step of their dugout, also acknowledging Nolan Arenado and what he's meant to the Cardinal franchise, and really a nice moment here at Busch Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really nice gesture from the coaching staff, Ollie and Mo. Obviously fans are always great. They're phenomenal. They've always have been. They've always been good to me, through the good or bad, and I'm very thankful for them. I was surprised, obviously. I'm a little surprised by it. I think, obviously change is coming and it needs to come. So I get why it kind of went down.
Arenado is signed through 2027, but there is a sense that he could be traded in the offseason. The Cardinals tried to trade him last offseason. His credentials: 8-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glover, 5-time Silver Slugger, 3-time home run leader, 2-time RBI leader in the National League, and certainly on his way to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Might be the last time you see him play as a Cardinal at Busch Stadium. John Mozeliak also said goodbye to the Cardinals fans.
Obviously this weekend specifically has been a lot of reflection, running into people, trying to get as many thank yous as I can out there, just because it does feel like everything's moving pretty quickly at this point. And, we obviously still have a week of baseball left, so we can't lose sight of that. But then there is that point of I know this is coming to an end pretty soon, so I just have to prepare for that. And so, yeah, reflection is happening, but it is also just going back through the memories and all the relationships I've made over the years. So that part's been great.
John Mozeliak threw out the first pitch yesterday before the game. 30 years in the Cardinals organization and 1 week left as president of baseball operations. We'll take a look at football on the way at 6:45. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Freddie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. The Saliga family's been taking great care of St. Louis since 1927 and still have the best and most trustworthy customer service in town. Saliga can handle all of your heating and air conditioning needs for home or business. They offer free estimates and financing options, and they won't leave you hanging if there's an emergency. The Miklas family's been calling on Saliga for more than 15 years, and we fully appreciate their knowledge, their class, and their integrity. Saliga's never tried to pressure us. They always take the time to discuss all the available options, including low-cost solutions. Saliga has saved us good money with their Priority Club maintenance program, which extends the life of our equipment. Members receive priority service and the peace of mind in knowing their home will be safe and comfortable during all 4 seasons. The Miklas family truly values Saliga Heating and Cooling, and you will too. For more information, call Saliga at 314-481-7333 or visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now the news at 9 The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
At 6:20, let's take a look at traffic and weather, and we start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got this crash downtown, Debbie. They closed both the left lanes now because the one vehicle was an overturned truck, and they actually had a secondary accident. Again, this is eastbound 5564 east of the Poplar Street Bridge. So the left pair of lanes are closed as you get across the bridge. The right ones are open and you get by the crash, a little bit of a delay. But again, that's the situation. Eastbound, fortunately, so far westbound, nobody is slowing down for a look. So westbound looks great coming in for Illinois drivers right now. Busy on 55 at a couple of spots. Northbound 55, the right lanes are slow south of Butler Hill up to the North 270 ramp, and it's starting to slow between Bayless and Weber as well. They're working that injury crash on 110 at Highway 21. There's some restrictions there. Emergency crews are on the scene. Other than that, the rest of these highways look pretty good. There's a little volume out west on eastbound 64, actually 61 as you cross over onto 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard, but eastbound 70 looks okay out in the west. Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, the rain has mostly moved out of our area, still some in the metro east and to the south of us, but otherwise we're finished with that. It looks like for the time being, we just have a mostly cloudy sky. Might see a little drizzle here and there in the area, but other than that, we're looking at a humid day today with some clouds mostly and a high of 81. Tonight, humid, partly cloudy early, cloudy late, low 66. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, humid, with a stray afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 81. We might not see the sun for a little while. A lot of cloudy skies in the forecast until Friday and Saturday look unbelievable. Right now, it's 65 across the board and downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:23. Charlie Kirk's memorial service on Sunday was a 5-hour remembrance of his life's work with eulogies by his wife Erica and President Trump. We get more from Steve Futterman.
Tens of thousands filled State Farm Stadium, and they got there early. Some began showing up shortly after midnight. By 5 a.m., people were parking their cars a mile or more away, then walking, like this woman.
It's time to rise up.
How have you been impacted by his death?
Horribly. Yeah, I think kind of many people are grieving, that didn't even know him. They're grieving.
Inside the stadium, the event began with bagpipes. But the spotlight during the more than 5-hour event was on the speeches. President Trump was the biggest name, but the most emotional speech came from Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica. She talked about forgiveness, even for the man accused of killing her husband.
On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." I forgive him.
In his speech, Trump's tone wasn't quite as generous. He said Charlie Kirk was killed because he spoke for freedom and justice.
He's a martyr now for American freedom. I know I speak for everyone here today when I say that none of us will ever forget Charlie Kirk, and neither now will history.
The most aggressive speech of the day came from Trump's Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller.
Those trying to foment hatred against us, what do you have? You have nothing. You are nothing. You are wickedness. You are jealousy. You are envy. You are hatred. You are nothing. You can build nothing.
Many talked about Kirk's death mobilizing the causes he promoted. Vice President Vance told those gathered that the devil overplayed his hand. I'm Steve Futterman in Glendale, Arizona.
In the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Governor J.B. Pritzker called for an end to political violence. But conservative lawmakers, a part of the Illinois House Freedom Caucus, have filed articles of impeachment against the governor for comments he made before Kirk's death that they would classify as hateful rhetoric.
One of the examples for impeachment is when Pritzker said in April, "Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace." Democrats who hold a supermajority in Illinois are unlikely to advance the impeachment.
A Missouri representative and 2 state senators are soliciting donations from Francis Howell families to start Turning Point USA chapters. That's the organization founded by Charlie Kirk. Congressman Bob Onder, Senators Adam Schnelting and Nick Schroer say a gift of at least $1,000 will be provided to Turning Point USA chapters established in any of the 3 Francis Howell high schools that are sanctioned by Turning Point. The money is supposed to be used for startup and operating expenses.
The federal government is set to partially shut down at the end of the month if Congress can't get together on temporary funding plans. Democrats say they want to meet with the president to discuss a way forward.
Last week, Republicans in the House passed what Democrats say is a partisan bill that had no chance of passing the Senate. On Friday, they were proven correct as senators failed to pass that measure. Now, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer are demanding to meet with the president to negotiate an end to what they say is Trump's decision to shut the government down on September 30th. Schumer on CNN's State of the Union Sunday.
The Republican bill is a totally partisan bill with zero input from Democrats, and that's not how to get things done. We had 2 bills on the floor Friday. Both failed, the Democratic bill and the Republican bill, and that's because there has been no negotiation with the Republicans.
Trump said he's open to meeting with leadership, but said Friday he, quote, doesn't think it's going to have any impact. After the measure failed to pass the Senate on Friday, Democrat Patty Murray said Republicans are not even engaging in talks with Democrats.
To my Republican colleagues, inaction is not an option. If you want Democratic votes, you need to work with us. Compromise is a very basic principle every American understands. And if Republicans don't bother working with Democrats just because Donald Trump said so, it will be a Republican shutdown.
At the center of the budget disagreement is Democrats' desire to preserve health care programs that would enhance certain subsidies that are due to end soon, as well as reversing Medicaid cuts that were included in the Big Beautiful Bill passed earlier this year. Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune said it's not true to say Republicans won't negotiate.
The Democrats seem more intent, as has been pointed out, in satisfying, I think, their very leftist base who is desperately wanting to see a government shutdown because I think it's politically advantageous to do that.
The most likely course would be a short-term continuing resolution to work out differences over the health care issues. It's unclear if and when any meeting with Democrats and President Trump will take place. John Stolness, Washington.
It's 6:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm a plumber and needed to get work in the door.
So business was going down the drain?
Yeah, I went to Staples. They printed yard signs, business cards, even flyers to leave at supply stores.
But at what cost, man?
Well, I saved $125 on my order, and now I'm booked solid. Boom!
Back at ya. For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
It is 6:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we have 65 degrees with cloudy skies. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Let's see if we have traffic. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
So we still have our issues downtown, Tom. If folks are eastbound headed into Illinois, the left lanes are closed at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge because of a couple of crashes. One of them is an overturned truck, so the right lanes are open. You can get by it okay. It looks like we may have an incident westbound now near the ballpark. Westbound is bogged down back across the Poplar Street Bridge, a little bit of a backup there. Northbound 55, cleared out down south, but we still have a little slow traffic right around Butler Hill and from the Union Road overpass up to River de Pere. That's slow. Northbound Tesson Ferry, a little backup at Kennerly. Eastbound 30, a little busy at Mauer. North 270, some volume. Approaching Manchester up to Ladue. South 270 through that area still looks okay. Southbound 61 north of Wensville Parkway on to 64, just to about Prospect is busy. Then it opens up, and they're still working a crash with restrictions that involved injuries on Highway 110 at Highway 21. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is going to be mostly cloudy and humid. We could see a couple showers and a thunderstorm mainly this morning, and a high of 81 degrees. We could see a stray afternoon thunderstorm tomorrow, Wednesday as well. Tomorrow, 81. It is 66 right now.
You met with Dave Burritt. You met with the corporate people, but you've never come here and met with us. Come here, and I invite you. Come here, sit down, have a meeting in my office.
Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson making a plea to President Trump to visit the workers at Granite City Steel. KMOX's Brad Choate says the rally drew nearly 200 people.
With these representatives that are working for you in your American dream of bringing jobs back to America. Yeah! So, Mr. President, I encourage you, pick up the phone. Have your staff call me.
Parkinson's message to President Trump: set up the meeting and have Democrats and Republicans work together as they are doing in Madison County to keep jobs permanently at Granite City Steel.
Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski wants a long-term commitment, not just for a couple of years, to keep Granite City Steel operational.
Congresswoman Budzinski says in May, President Trump announced that Nippon would acquire U.S. Steel. However, the deal failed to include any assurances or investments for the Granite City facility.
The message was to the Trump administration and to U.S. Steel that we want to see some of the $14 billion that came out of the sale of U.S. Steel to Nippon come to Granite City to turn those blast furnaces back on.
Budzinski says she and others were outraged when they said slabs would be going to another place.
Because as a part of the deal through 2027, there was a commitment as a part of the deal that went through under the Trump administration that none of the operations of Granite City Works would be harmed or scaled back.
Basinski tells KMOX to hear those slabs were going to be rerouted to Alabama, which incidentally is a non-union facility. She says that was a clear violation of the agreement that was made with the sale to Nippon. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. At 6:34, we will check your money report next. I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, focusing on the Siteman Kids program at St. Louis Children's Hospital, and Dr. Mohammed Abdul-Baki.
I think we're definitely one of the top brain tumor programs in the whole country and in the world as well. We are the top program in Missouri that has trained pediatric neuro-oncologists.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Community America is stepping up in St. Louis and showing what excellence in banking looks like. Or in other words, they're winning. Opening more branches? Win. Competitive loan rates? Win. Wealth management? Win. Which now makes sense why they asked me, Cardinal shortstop Mason Wynn, to tell you. That's win with two N's, not one. It's time to bank like the Mason winner you are. It's time your financial partner was invested in you. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
It is 6:36. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman, and it's time for your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
Good morning. It was a good weekend for Apple. A lot of stores around the world reported strong demand for new iPhones on Friday, and the trend continued into Saturday. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman says the new iPhone 17 lineup focuses on what consumers care most about: battery life, durability, camera focus, and colors, and the marketing for the phones promotes actual features. The non-traditional cardboard box economic indicator is flashing a warning sign. Demand for boxes is declining. That's a sign that consumers are cutting back, since just about everything from takeout pizzas to major appliances is transported in corrugated boxes. The Wall Street Journal notes a number of pulp mills have closed, and that suggests problems for companies that make boxes. A weekend cyber attack caused air travel issues across Europe. The attack on Collins Aerospace knocked out a key airline check-in system. Staffers were forced to process passengers manually, and delays were reported at airports in Berlin, London, and Brussels. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Pretzel Cheddar Club.
Hey, I'm Carlos. And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties: grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen.
I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at newnordicusa.com.
Let's check traffic. Roger Brand, how are things on the east side, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center?
Well, Tom, they're still working with the crash. There was actually a couple of crashes. The initial crash was an overturned truck eastbound 5564 east of Route 3 near Barack Obama Avenue in the far left lane, but they shut down both those left lanes, so the left pair are closed eastbound east of the bridge because, like I said, there's now a couple of crashes. So a little traffic jam behind there, and there's a slowdown in the right lanes as you get past that crash scene. Westbound is slow approaching the King Bridge exit, and then it's slow again across the Poplar over past the ballpark. It looks like they may have cleared the incident we have there, but it's still busy in that particular stretch. Northbound 55 approaching 67 is slow. The right lane south of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes from the Union Road overpass up to River to Pear backed up. Northbound 270 north of Tesson Ferry to 44, and Big Bend all the way up to Ladou's pretty busy out west. Southbound 61 a little slow. South of P, and then just through Wentzville Parkway on to 64. After that, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Eastbound 70 looks good coming in from Wentzville right now as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Serving the Metro East region with excellence, Anderson Hospital is proud to be named one of Newsweek's World's Best Hospitals for 2025. Experience world-class care close to home. AndersonHospital.org.
It is 6:41 and time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. And it just seems like when it rains, it pours around here, Joe, because we hadn't seen rain in so long. And when it came down on Saturday, my goodness, did it come down.
And we've had some nice downpours. Not everybody has shared in this. It would be nice to get more widespread rains. In fact, if you look at the radar right now, it's just loaded up south and east of the city, but it's moving away. Some places there just picked up a half an inch to an inch of rain overnight. I think for the rest of today, we're not going to see much more than a shower or two. In fact, we'll probably end the day with some sun. Our high about 81 in tonight, partly cloudy early, clouds up again late tonight, those 66. Could be a stray thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon, otherwise a mostly cloudy day with a high in the low 80s. We stay in the mid-70s Wednesday with some showers and a thunderstorm. That's the day that I think is the wettest going forward. Could be some downpours with that. Thursday, clouds, breaks of sun, a shower or two, high 77. It all moves away to the east. The sun returns Friday, the high 77. Should be a nice start to the weekend. Right now, we've got 67 degrees in across the area. I have my temperatures. Where'd they go? In front of me. Oh, there we go. 67 in St. Peter's, 67 in Florissant, cloudy, and 68 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Joe, thank you. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes, and traffic was sponsored by Anderson Hospital. A new survey reveals the number one city for Java junkies is...
A new survey from Wallet Hub finds Portland, Oregon is the macchiato mecca. Mostly because of the extremely high number of affordable coffee shops, many with free Wi-Fi. Number 2 is Orlando, then Long Beach, California, Seattle, the home of Starbucks, then Tampa, San Francisco, Austin, Oakland, California, and Pittsburgh. Comparisons were based on average price per pack of coffee, the average amount spent on Java per month, the percentage of population that drinks coffee, Google searches for coffee, and the number of shops with 4.5-star ratings or better. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I didn't hear St. Louis in there. I don't believe Wallet Hub. National Coffee Day is September 29th.
St. Charles hosting its first coffee festival coming up this Saturday with free samples, vendors, and you get to vote for best coffee in St. Charles. It's part of the city's ongoing effort to bring events to St. Charles Market, which is on North Main Street between Clark and Monroe Streets.
The sitcom set inside a coffee shop for many episodes debuted on this date in 1994. NBC's Friends would last 10 seasons, 236 episodes, originally pitched as Insomnia Cafe. The central romance was supposed to be between Joey and Monica, but the immense chemistry between Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer led the creators to pivot to the Ross and Rachel storyline.
Another beloved sitcom debuted on this date 43 years ago. It was Family Ties on NBC. The show was originally pitched as Hip Parents Square Kids. And those parents, Stephen and Elise Keaton, were supposed to be the main characters. But of course, Michael J. Fox, his performance as Alex P. Keaton was so well received, then they pivoted quickly to his character. Family Ties had some pretty impressive guest stars before they hit it big, including Tom Hanks, who played Elisa's brother. Courtney Cox played Alex's girlfriend. Lauren Miller in the final 2 seasons. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Leonardo DiCaprio on that show too?
Oh, I don't know. Was he?
I think he might
would have been super young.
I'm going to have to look that up.
For sure. 6:45. Let's start with some baseball. And yesterday, the Cardinals honored Nolan Arenado and John Mozeliak, and they did it in 2 different ways. One, they started with the fact that Arenado was not in the starting lineup, and then he was. They put him in the lineup to be the third baseman. Before the first pitch, Ollie Marmol took him out of the game so he could receive a big ovation. Could very well be his final game at Busch Stadium. It was the final game for John Mozeliak, the outgoing president of baseball operations. 30 years in the organization. He threw out the first pitch before the game. Sports on a Sunday Morning. Bernie Miklasz makes this statement.
With that, but we don't know exactly what he's going to do, like exactly how aggressive he'll be. Who's going to be traded? There will be players traded away. What do they have in mind about finding some incredible, like really, really good value players at a reasonable cost? What prospects will be ready to roll in 2026? Is Liam Doyle going to, kind of make his way to St. Louis? I mean, there's a long list of things to keep an eye on. And unlike recent Cardinals offseason, especially last offseason where there's nothing going on, this one should be filled with action. And so there'll be more action in the offseason, probably in a way that we saw all during the regular season.
He also talked about John Mozeliak and how his first 27 years should also be recognized as much as people have been critical of his final 3 years. We'll hear more on Mozeliak from Bernie Miklasz coming up at 7:15. Football yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs last night wrapped up their first victory of the season. They avoided going 0-3 for the first time since 2011. They won it 22-9 in New Jersey against the New York Giants. Mahomes, 22 of 37. Patrick threw for 224 yards and a touchdown pass to Tyquan Thornton. Eagles won on a blocked field goal attempt by the Rams and wrapped it up 33-26. And it was the Bears all over the Cowboys, 31-14, 4 touchdown passes for Caleb Williams. The number 1 team in the nation is Ohio State in the latest AP Top 25 college football poll, but Miami moves up to number 2, jumping Penn State and LSU. Miami beat Florida over the weekend. Georgia sits at number 5. The rest of the top 10, Oregon, Oklahoma, Florida State, Texas A&M, all of those teams undefeated. Texas, the only team with 1 loss in the top 10. They sit at number 10. Indiana, after a 63-10 beating of Illinois, moves up to 11. Illinois drops to 23. Missouri, with a strong win over South Carolina, moves up 3 spots to number 20. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX. Who's Hot, Who's Not, brought to you by St. Louis Composting, STLcompost.com. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories, mulch, soil, compost, right here in the St. Louis area, and they've been doing it in 9 different locations. I had no idea they were so widespread here in St. Louis, but 9 locations of St. Louis composting where you can back your truck or trailer up and pick up all of that mulch and compost. You don't have a truck or trailer, you don't want to go out to one of the 9 locations, that's easy. Just do what we did. Go to stlcompost.com. They'll deliver it to you. St. Louis Composting transforms organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost. They have a whole menu of different kinds of mulch and soil. You can get some of that Missouri Botanical Garden soil that everybody raves about. They bag that and send it to you. Whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags, St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com.
Before we went to sports, we were talking about family ties and all the guest stars. I mentioned Leonardo DiCaprio. He was on Growing Pains.
Okay.
I always get those 2 shows confused for some reason.
Understandable. Well, they aired at the same time, and they were both
Both
really
about
good.
families.
Yeah, that's right. They were both really good. Coming up on 650.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Hey, let's get you caught up here at 6:51 on traffic and weather together. And we'll start with Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change downtown, Debbie, at the Poplar Street Bridge. This traffic reports the service of Amon, Gantner, Capriano. They still have the left lanes closed eastbound at the Illinois end of the bridge because a couple of crashes. The right lanes are open. They're a little slow. Westbound Gawkers are starting to bog down now from the 70 split past the scene, but it goes all the way up through the ballpark. I can't see anything any longer. It was jammed there before. Traffic opens up as you get west of the ballpark. It's slow through there as opposed to jam, but it is certainly busy westbound, and normally it wouldn't be. Northbound 55, Joachim Creek up to Z's, a little slow. The right lane south of Butler Hill to Mattis. All lanes, Union Road up to about Weber and Loughborough through Virginia. North 270 a little slow with the merge on traffic from 55. A little busy at Gravois from Big Bend all the way up to Ladue. South 270 approaching Ladue. That's a little slow. Southbound 61, a couple of heavy spots from Highway P down to 64. Eastbound 70 starting to see slower traffic between A and Highway K, and 110 at 21. They're wrapping up an earlier injury crash. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. My dad always said, no one gets out of this world alive. Hi, it's Margaret at Amon, Gantner, and Capriano. Do you have a will? Amon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
It is 6:52, and it's time for us to check in with our CBS News business analyst, Jill Schlesinger. And here we are on a Monday talking about our financial diet. So I guess there's the meat, there's the potatoes, Jill, and then there's the vegetable of our financial diet.
Yes. I know oftentimes when like stocks are making new highs, I say, oh my God, this is where like you talked about the fun. This is like the carb sweets part of your financial life. It's fun. And now I get to talk about this on a Monday morning, which is your vegetables. And what is your vegetables? You know, it's your estate planning and it's your life insurance. It's the thing you know you should care about, but it's like, do I have to care about that? And it's really, really tough. So what I would like to tell you is that it's a lot easier to figure out whether or not you need life insurance and what kind than it used to be. So everyone just take a deep breath and ask yourself a simple question that if I were to pass away right now, would anyone suffer financially? And if the answer is yes, because you're supporting adult children or you've got young kids or you're there trying to actually support your parents, and if something happened to you, they would be in big trouble. Whatever it is, if the answer is yes, then the next place to go is to figure out how much money you need to get by in coverage.
Yeah, how do you shop for insurance? I mean, what's the best way to find the right person or people?
Well, I think the first thing is you got to figure out how much you need. And there's a really nice calculator at lifehappens.org. That's the nonprofit arm of the insurance industry that does help with this. And then once you know the amount, you can basically look at these aggregation sites. Like you've probably heard of something called Policy Genius, and that actually compares different insurance companies' quotes in one place, kind of like the way you would look at like CDs in one place. And most people, they just need term life insurance. They need coverage for a period of time until their need goes away. Maybe their kids get older or their savings are enough to support whatever the other needs are. And so that term life insurance is very cost effective under the age of 50 if you're in decent health. You don't have to be great health, but in decent health. The maybe 5% of the folks out there, really very small amount, need life insurance for their entire lives. That's called permanent life insurance. Now, if that's you or someone's trying to sell you these policies that stay in place for your entire life, get a second opinion. I like to compare it to like there's two orthopedic surgeons. One's like, hey, you need this very simple arthroscopic surgery on your knee. We'll go in. And then another one who's like, there's a much more complex surgery. We do it for professional athletes, and this will be the right thing for you. It's way harder, way more expensive. And you know what? For most people, they don't need it because we're not professional athletes.
Real quickly before we go, what are the big things this week to look out for?
I'm looking at the housing market this week. We've got new and existing home sales Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm interested to see if there's some new activity. Mortgage rates have come down from those highs. The high level was close to 8%. We're now at 6.25% for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I think more people, it's not affordable, but it's going to be more affordable to even get into that housing market right now. So let's see what happens. That's this week.
That's Jill Schlesinger from Jill on Money. I know. I was trying to think of your
Jill on Money.
A special title, JillOnMoney.com, but CBS News business analyst, great friend of Total Information AM. We absolutely love her. How's that?
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
It's 6:56.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Swing and a high fly ball into right, curving foul into the corner. That ball may go. It's up against the wall, and now there's Coleman streaking for second, going for third. They're bringing him home. The throw home, and he is safe. And inside the park, home run. His first home run in the big leagues.
Cardinals Hall of Famer Vince Coleman is 64 today. Former Cardinals player and manager Mike Matheny is 55.
The birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday to Jude Hopper Sr., Steve Hedden, and also David Lemon, Mary Claire Bina, and Craig Workman.
This is the best birthday ever.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. They have been here since 1926. They invented the overhead garage door. They are located online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. They also have a phone number, 314-781-5200. They are the ones to call when you want your garage door tuned up, and you do. Your garage door needs a tune-up. You can't let it just sit there all year long, and it's going to squeak a little bit. It might whine a little bit for attention. It needs a little TLC. And even if you didn't get it from Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, that's the company to call when it comes to garage door repair, garage door tune-ups. Garage doors are the largest piece of moving equipment in your home, and they need Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original. It's the most inspiring night in sports, the Musial Awards at Stiefel Theater. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event from St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the Musial Awards celebrate those who uplift us through their extraordinary sportsmanship. Experience the remarkable moments and people that make this an event like no other. The Musial Awards, presented by Maryville University, Saturday, November 22nd. Tickets at musialawards.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
This is Todd Krenz with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. We work closely with professionals in healthcare, from doctors and nurses to medical sales in biotech and pharma. Our team helps you navigate complex financial decisions like retirement plans, disability insurance, consolidating old 401ks, and understanding stock options or RSUs. We make the process clear so you can focus on what you do best. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA/SIPC. Krenz Financial Group is our broker-dealer.
Here is Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's still no change downtown, Debbie. The left lanes are closed eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge due to a couple of earlier crashes. Westbound's heavy west of the 70 split all the way over to about the ballpark. Northbound 55, you got slow traffic approaching 67. The right lane's at Butler Hill. Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. North 270, north of Big Bend up to Ladue. There's some slow stretches. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A packed memorial service for conservative activist Charlie Kirk at State Farm Stadium in Arizona was intended as not just a remembrance, but a call to action. His widow took the lead. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is in Phoenix.
In an emotional tribute Sunday, Erica Kirk spoke of the devout Christian values she shared with her late husband Charlie and offered these words to his assassin.
That young man, I forgive him.
Now, the CEO of Turning Point USA, the conservative organization her husband founded, Kirk pledged to grow the movement. Moments later, President Trump, the event's headlining speaker, called Kirk's death an attack on the entire nation.
The gun was pointed at him, but the bullet was aimed at all of us.
The president teased a major health announcement today.
I think we found an answer to autism. How about that? Autism.
The Washington Post says officials will tie it to women who take Tylenol during pregnancy. Major medical groups have dismissed that claim. Medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder is worried.
One of the things that concerns me is unintended side effects of this. So will women end up taking other medications like aspirin or ibuprofen during pregnancy? Those actually can be dangerous.
A court hearing is scheduled for today in New Hampshire for a suspect who allegedly shot and killed a man while he was eating dinner with his family at a country club and wounding 2 others. CBS's Lilia Luciano reports from Nashua.
The 23-year-old suspect is now facing 1 second-degree murder charge, but more are expected today. Police say that they are looking for a motive, but they confirmed that he used to work at the country club where the shooting happened.
The EU's cybersecurity agency has just confirmed criminals are using ransomware to cause chaos at airports around the world.
The cyber attack, which has affected automatic bag check-in and boarding card software, began late Friday. North Carolina-based Collins Aerospace says it's close to resolving the issue, but a number of flights from Brussels, Berlin, and London have been delayed or even canceled again today, with those passengers who are flying facing long lines as check-in crew manually check their bags. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
People in and around San Francisco woke up with a start early this morning. The U.S. Geological Survey reports a 4.3 earthquake east-southeast of Berkeley around 3 a.m. Pacific time. Callers phoned into our affiliate, KCBS.
Everything started rattling profusely in my apartment.
I felt that strong jolt.
And I went to the front, and there's dishes all over my floor.
No word yet on significant damage or injuries. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club.
Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It is 7:04, and right now we've got cloudy skies. It is 65 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. An appeals court will hear the case today for and against a gun ban in Illinois.
The law took effect 2 years ago, banning dozens of semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines. It also required owners of the guns at the time to register them. Last year, a federal district court ruled the ban unconstitutional. Now the U.S. Department of Justice is involved in opposing it. The law's supporters will argue the other side in oral arguments. Whoever wins at this level, the case is still expected to wind up in the Supreme Court at some point. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
Are more immigration agents coming to St. Louis?
Mayor Kara Spencer says she doesn't believe the National Guard should be involved in crime fighting should they be called into St. Louis City. What about an influx of ICE agents?
This is not my ambition to have ICE in our community.
She says if ICE is sent to St. Louis, she would lean on the activist community to take the lead on the response to their presence.
The city's reaction to this, how we will handle that, should that happen here, will be led by advocates in the community who have been on the ground and have been supporting our foreign-born community.
In a statement to KMOX Thursday, Governor Mike Kehoe says there is no plan to utilize the National Guard to address crime, but is keeping options open. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
In a letter to the Department of Homeland Security last week, Senator Josh Hawley proposed Fort Leonard Wood to be the new training location for ICE officers. He argues the installation has the necessary infrastructure and experience to support a rapid expansion of the ICE workforce.
KMOX continues following developments with the Jefferson County Council, poised to pass a law temporarily banning swimming in the Big River at Rockford Beach.
It has taken several years and deaths to come to this point. This year, there was 1 drowning and 3 near drownings, something High Ridge Fire Chief John Barton tells KMOX needs to happen.
The ban that was discussed before was a permanent ban, and we weren't necessarily even opposed to that, but that's not what we were advocating for from a public safety standpoint. A couple years later, there's now some projects underway with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and there's a pretty good chance that that will result in that dam being removed.
And Barton adds, the hope is that will change the river conditions enough so that Rockford Beach can be as safe as a river can be. Tonight, the Jefferson County Council is expected to advance the bill for passage. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Schnucks is the proverbial last of the Mohicans when it comes to growing mass market family-owned grocery chains, says retail analyst Bert Flickinger. That's why he says the Schnuck family is likely far from done acquiring other stores like it. Last week, we told you about their purchase of Festival Foods of Wisconsin. Flickinger estimates Coburn's of Minnesota could be next, and then perhaps Arizona.
From studying Schnucks and studying Festival, bringing their skills to Bashas', they'd improve the volume the same way they potentially could buying out the Heinen brothers in Chicago and Cleveland as well. So who knows, but the opportunities, they're not endless for Schnucks, but they're numerous.
He says Schnucks is known for having a good mix of family ownership, which brings in smart outside professional management and which plays well with the unions.
The business desk sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Next year's not going to be good when it comes to conventions. That's according to the new head of Explore St. Louis, Brad Dean. He calls convention traffic for 2026 anemic at best. But he tells the Business Journal they'll lean into everything that doesn't involve a meeting or a convention and believe they can grow travel and tourism with leisure travelers. Dean says visitor numbers were up this year over last, but over the past decade, St. Louis's hotel revenue has increased far less than our competitor cities. It went up 7.5% here, but up 28% in Nashville, 26% in Kansas City, and 30% in Indianapolis.
It's 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather next.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, 90 and 60. A look back at the latest St. Louis City SC match. Presented by Woods Basement Systems, Inc.
Close! Oh, to McScorley! A one-time volley into the top shelf!
Ball gets lined back up toward the D. It's Cello who settles it down. Oh!
What a half volley from Cello Hartle outside the penalty arc!
Follow outside the 18. Hartle.
Oh, a header! Get on in, baby! Guess who? It's McScorley again at the back!
Final score, St. Louis City 3, San Jose 1.
Up next, City SC faces Los Angeles FC Saturday night. Kick at 7:30 on Y98.
Tripping over uneven concrete? Don't replace it, raise it with concrete leveling. Call the all things basement-y experts, Wood Basement Systems, for a free estimate at 618-249-5503 or learn more at woodsbasementsystems.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still no change with a couple of our incidents, Debbie. Those left lanes are still shut down eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge due to a couple of earlier crashes. One of them was an overturned truck. Westbound traffic in the area is bumper to bumper from 3rd Street up to the Poplar Street Bridge. Looking at it on the way by and just building volume in that area. The other one is 21 at 110. Northbound 21's jammed more than midway back to Highway Y at 110. That's an injury crash that occurred earlier as well. Northbound 55, the right lanes are busy. Butler Hill up to 270, and then north of Bayless up to River to Pear. North 270, Sappington to Gravois, Doherty Ferry, and pockets up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64, a little heavy. Prospect midway into Lake St. Louis Boulevard. 70, approaching Lake St. Louis toward Highway K. That's a little off the pace as well. B at Butcher Branch, there's an injury crash also in Jefferson County. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of clouds and rather humid today with scattered showers and a thunderstorm, particularly during the morning hours and especially from the city south and east, the high 81. Partly cloudy early tonight, then mostly cloudy late, those 66. Mostly cloudy and humid tomorrow with a spotty afternoon thunderstorm, high 81. Wednesday will be cloudy and not as warm with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, high 74. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have clouds and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:12. Illinois Governor Pritzker is running for a third term in 2026, but he has some challengers, including 5 Republicans. One of them, Ted Dabrowski, is a conservative researcher and spoke with Total Information AM about what it means to have Pritzker potentially running for president, too, in 2028.
I think there's fatigue there because the governor's promised to do all kinds of things that he never did. He promised to lower property taxes. They've only gone up under him. The people leaving the state, the outmigration continues. He's been focused more on illegal immigrants than his own residents.
Dabrowski was asked how he needs to position himself to win the GOP primary.
You need to be conservative enough to meet the entire needs of the entire state. And I've proven that with all the work I've done at Wire Points and Illinois Policy Institute. I have a 15-year record of the things that I stand for.
Dabrowski says to win, you have to have someone who can do well in Cook County and the suburbs. He adds, since he lives in Cook County, he can appeal to the independents and centrist Democrats who are looking for something different.
The annual Household Food Security Report, done annually by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, has been terminated. The official release from the USDA says the report is costly, politicized, and does nothing but fearmonger. It states that it was created by the Clinton administration only to increase SNAP eligibility and, quote, is nothing more than subjective liberal fodder.
Those who feed the hungry disagree. Kristen Wild, president and CEO of Operation Food Search, says the data collected has guided all levels of government and nonprofits in their work to allocate food resources and meet community needs. She says canceling the research doesn't cancel hunger. It just makes it harder to clearly see the challenges and address them. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that 150,000 Missourians and 472,000 Illinoisans will lose food assistance, numbers largely made up of disabled and elderly people, the working poor, veterans, and children.
Grocery prices are on the rise, and consumers are feeling it at the checkout line. CBS News Los Angeles reporter Amanda Starantino talked to some shoppers in Santa Clarita.
This mom says it's painful to hit the market.
A little disappointing.
Yeah.
I spent quite a bit, but I needed all these things. And I have a son that eats a lot.
What was your haul today?
$211. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've spent more than that before, because it doesn't last long with my family. When I'm walking around and I see the prices, it does freak me out a little bit. Yeah, it's bad. I can't believe how much some of this stuff costs, actually.
Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. And a mighty swing of the bat from the Cardinals' designated hitter gave them the runs they needed as the Cardinals won 5-1 over Milwaukee.
Not going again, and that pitch is hammered to left field off the bat of Herrera. Did he get it? Oh, yeah! Over the bullpen. A two-run shot for Ivan Herrera, his 17th of the year, and the Cardinals jump out on top 2-0 here in the third inning.
Nice call on the Herrera home run, Ricky, and good pitching helped the Cardinals finish up their home schedule.
Good pitching and good timely hitting for the Cardinals, who only managed 3 hits in the game, but they came at the right time. 5 runs on 3 hits. Really good work again by Matthew Liberatore, and a really nice day at the ballpark. Fan Appreciation Day as the Cardinals closed out their schedule at Busch.
The Cardinals play in San Francisco tonight on the air at 7:50.
Is your home showing symptoms?
Let's hear from our player to bank on. Sponsored by Community American Credit Union, invested in you.
Our player of the game this afternoon, Ivan Herrera. Man, what a great way to end a homestand in the regular season, certainly with a home run and certainly with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying to play a really good baseball. We're glad that we got these 2 last games here at home. Trying to finish strong. All of us, we're trying the best we can, and, we're happy that got the W.
What sort of pitch was that you hit for the home run?
Cutter.
And you were looking for it, too.
I was kind of looking fast one. I'm just trying to get extended. I've been getting hit a lot because they've been pitching me inside, but, happy that I get the hands inside and could hit a home run right there.
For you, this has been a good season for you. I mean, we've had a chance to see you as a DH. I know you're going to catch next year. What do you take away from this season for yourself as a player?
Just be more mature, man. I've been grinding all year, I have some physical issues, but I'm feeling really good right now, trying to finish strong, like I say, and everything's going really good, man. I feel like this year is a good way as a hitter. Next year is going to be as a catcher, and hopefully we become a really good catcher too.
I can tell you're already looking forward to next year and the challenges you're going to deal with catching on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, I say all those challenges, man. I'm gonna keep fighting until I get the best out there. I feel really confident that I'm gonna be really good next year, and just trying to do that every single day out there too.
Well, it was fun to watch you this year here in St. Louis, and we're looking forward to you having a very healthy, safe off season, and we'll see you in spring training.
See you in spring training.
All right, Ivan Herrera is our player of the game.
Claibs, thank you. Ivan Herrera, those challenges he was talking about, he's going to have elbow surgery, he revealed, this offseason to alleviate some issues he's having there so that he can throw a better ball down to second base. Nolan Arenado perhaps has played his final game at Busch Stadium. He was given the opportunity to receive an ovation as he was brought out of the game before the first pitch. And John Mozeliak was recognized for 30 years of service with the club. He threw out the first pitch yesterday. In football, the Chiefs beat the Giants 22-9, picking up their first win of the season. The Jets blocked a field goal attempt of the Buccaneers to take the lead, but then ended up losing on a field goal to Tampa Bay as the Bucs are 3-0. And Jordan Davis blocked a field goal attempt by the Rams on the final play of the game, and that helped the Eagles to another win. Second blocked kick of the fourth quarter by the Eagles. A blocked field goal and a touchdown for Jordan Davis. Caleb Williams, 4 touchdown passes for the Bears as they romped 31-14 over the Cowboys. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Scammers, stalkers, criminals. They're looking for your personal information and finding it easier than you think. With Incogni, you can reduce your personal information exposure on the web. Your name, address, and phone number are shared on hundreds of public websites right now. Your family details, even where you live. It's all online, collected and sold by data brokers without your consent, putting you at serious risk. Someone could show up at your door, use your information to steal your identity, send scam messages to your parents, or drain your accounts in minutes. Incogni removes your personal data from hundreds of websites that expose your details, making it much harder for the wrong people to reach you. Because if they can't find you, they can't harm you. Get 1 year of Incogni Unlimited for 55% off today at Incogni.com and let Incogni remove your personal data from the web for you. That's INCOGNI.com. Take back control of your privacy and reclaim your peace of mind.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Be part of the moment as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra returns home to Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Conducted by music director Stefan Denev. Opening weekend, Fanfare for Powell Hall opens a monumental season with a trio of fanfares featuring Grammy Award winner soprano Joyce DiDonato, composer in residence Kevin Putz, and Richard Strauss's Ein Heldenleben. September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Tickets at slso.org.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is going on 7:21. We owe you a check of traffic and weather together. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a jam northbound 21, Debbie, from North of Highway Y up to 110. That's where we had an earlier injury crash, so it's bumper to bumper through there. Northbound Highway 55, the right lanes are bogged down. Butler Hill up to 270. All lanes from just north of the Union Road overpass all the way up to Virginia. North 270 from 55 to Gravois, from Big Bend up to Ladue. That's all busy. South 270, Olive to Ladue is slow. Southbound 61, just a little busy crossing over onto 64. Kind of heavy to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. After that, it opens up and it's fine. Eastbound Highway 70, there's a little heavy traffic east of K through TR Hughes towards 79 at this time. Downtown, still no change. Eastbound, the left lanes at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge are closed because of a couple of earlier crashes. Westbound 64, a little slow at Ball Avenue, and then 3rd Street to the Poplar, just heavy. And northbound Telegraph, pretty busy. Baumgartner up to Forder, looks like it's stop and go. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Mostly cloudy today, humid, and a high of 81 degrees. Tonight, humid, partly cloudy early, cloudy late, low 66. Tomorrow, pretty much the same, cloudy, humid, maybe a stray afternoon thunderstorm, and a high of 81. Wednesday, not as warm, a high of only 74 with a chance of a thunderstorm. Currently, it's cloudy, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. The weather sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is 7:22 as the news continues. Tens of thousands jammed Arizona's NFL Stadium yesterday for the memorial service for Charlie Kirk. Thousands more couldn't fit inside. In one of the ceremony's most powerful moments, Kirk's widow said she forgives his assassin. Here's CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
The president spoke on a wide range of topics for more than 40 minutes and called Kirk's death an attack on the entire nation.
The gun was pointed at him.
but the bullet was aimed at all of us.
Several members of the president's inner circle and cabinet spoke Sunday as an overflowing crowd packed State Farm Stadium, the largest venue in Arizona, to celebrate Kirk's life.
Now, our whole administration is here, but not just because we love Charlie as a friend, even though we did, but because we know we wouldn't be here without him.
The 31-year-old Kirk's rise to prominence was fueled in part by his debates with students on college campuses across the country. He became a mainstay on the campaign trail and galvanized young people to vote for President Trump.
You know, I watch Charlie Kirk's videos pretty much every day.
Brittany Hegberg traveled to the memorial from Minnesota.
I thought that he really stood up for what he believed in, and I really admired that a lot, and I think the world needs more of that.
In the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, Governor J.B. Pritzker in Illinois called for an end to political violence. But conservative lawmakers, a part of the Illinois House Freedom Caucus, have filed articles of impeachment against the governor for comments he made before Kirk's death that they would classify as hateful rhetoric.
One of the examples for impeachment is when Pritzker said in April, "Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace." Democrats who hold a supermajority in Illinois are unlikely to advance this impeachment effort.
A Missouri representative and 2 state senators are soliciting donations from Francis Howell families to start Turning Point USA chapters. That's the organization founded by the late Charlie Kirk. Congressman Bob Onder, Senators Anna Schnelting and Nick Schroer say a gift of at least $1,000 will be provided to Turning Point USA chapters established in any of the 3 Francis Howell high schools that are sanctioned by Turning Point. The money is supposed to be used for startup and operating expenses.
From the KMOX archives, happening 50 years ago today, President Gerald Ford was the target of an assassination attempt on a California street for the second time in less than 3 weeks.
This time it was San Francisco, where Sarah Jane Moore tried to shoot Mr. Ford. Reporter George McManus was there.
Hey! My God, there's been a shot. There's been a shot.
The shooter, Sarah Jane Moore, a former FBI informant and a radical political activist. She had a history of mental instability and was known to have been evaluated by the Secret Service earlier that year, who deemed her not to be a threat. Just the day before, she had been arrested on an illegal handgun charge, but was released.
As President Ford was leaving the St. Francis Hotel, Moore was standing across the street in a crowd of onlookers. She aimed a .38 special revolver at him and fired a shot. Her first shot missed Ford's head by just inches. A bystander, Oliver Sipple, a former Marine, heard the shot and lunged at Moore, grabbing her arm before she could fire a second time.
Change in timing. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder fills us in on the CDC Advisory Committee new recommendation on changing the schedule for the measles, mumps, rubella, and chickenpox vaccine for kids under 4.
The CDC had already been recommending for kids under 4 to split them up. Typically, kids will get their first dose at 12 to 15 months, their second dose at 4 to 6 years. So we're really just focused on the first dose here. And it's because between the ages of 14 to 18 months, there is an increased risk of fever-related seizures, most commonly actually due to infections, but rarely can also be caused by vaccines. And so the CDC had already been recommending, you have the choice, you can separate MMR from varicella, which is chickenpox, or you can get MMRV together. But they left it up to parents and pediatricians to decide what was best for them. That choice is now being taken away. Private insurance companies, AHIP, which is the organization that represents them, has said that they will continue to cover MMRV as well as MMR and varicella, so the combined or the separate. But then Medicaid won't cover the MMRV for kids under 4. But then state CHIP programs, which also covers young kids who are low income, they may or may not cover depending on the state. And then the Vaccines for Children program will cover MMRV. So it really is a bit of a mess. It's going to cause a lot of confusion.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
727 Time Check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
If you have to sell a home, you probably have been listening to news reports of what the housing market is doing. It has cooled off. So what does that mean? Will you not be able to sell your home? Well, if you have the right agent, You can. And that agent is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria doesn't care what the market's doing, hot, cold, tepid, whatever. She will sell your home. In fact, she guarantees it in writing. So if your agent or the agent you've been considering can't do the same, just give Gloria a call at 314-325-6888. Gloria Liu will guarantee to get results, your home sold, or she will buy it. In fact, Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. If you have questions, or maybe you're just interviewing agents, give her a call, like I said, or you can visit her online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Are you 55 or older and have questions or concerns regarding your retirement plan? Do you wonder how rising taxes will impact your cash flow? I'm Matthew Allgaier of Fira Capital Management, and I can help you answer these questions and more. Register for our upcoming dinner at Chris's Steakhouse, Tuesday, September 23rd or Thursday, September 25th, beginning at 5:30 p.m. by calling 314-269-0954. This event will cover income and investment planning and tax-efficient strategies. Seating is limited, so call now at 314-269-0954 to register. FIRA is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. This is a paid advertisement to KMOX News Radio 1120 by Pine Ridge.
At 7:30, we have a cloudy sky, 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're heading up 55 this morning, it doesn't look bad down south. It's a little busy in the right lanes around Butler Hill. It does back up from the Union Road overpass, and it's remains slow all the way up through Virginia. Northbound 270 from 55 up through Gravois, 44 up to Ladue is heavy. South 270, 364 down to Ladue. That's busy pretty much the whole way through. Eastbound 70, a little off the pace. East of TR Hughes to 79, right around 5th Street and Earth City and past 270. Westbound, a little heavy around Zumbel. Southbound 61, crossing over onto 64, just kind of off the pace. Doesn't look that bad around the boulevard. A little heavy at Clarkson. Both ways around the Interbelt are a little slow. Eastbound 30, Mauer to 270. That's a little bit busy. Downtown, we still have those restrictions eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to 3rd Street, and then past the crash scene to the Poplar is a little heavy, and still seeing heavy traffic on Telegraph coming up from really from Baumgartner all the way up to Forder. And if you're headed in on 21, you may still encounter some delays. It looks like it's pretty well cleared up, though. It looks a lot better coming through Highway 110. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather forecast, we're looking at a cloudy sky today, humid with a high of 81 degrees. Tonight, humid, cloudy late, low 66. Tomorrow, cloudy and humid with a stray afternoon thunderstorm and a high of 81. Currently, it's cloudy, 66 downtown at the Arch.
Set up the meeting here. Let's start working together as our Democrats and Republicans in Madison County are to make sure that these jobs stay right here in Granite City.
That is Granite City's Mayor Mike Parkinson asking President Trump to meet with U.S. steelworkers. KMOX's Brad Choate says Parkinson's message to the president was, "You've met with the corporate people, now meet the workers." And the mayor reminded Trump about his promise of keeping jobs in America.
Not 2 years. We don't want 2 years. We don't want 4 years. We want forever.
Hell yeah!
I was there in 2018. I was a policeman that protected you that day. I was in charge of the interior route to get you safely to the mill, to deliver the message to all the people in this room that you were here, you were for real, and you were going to bring jobs back. Let's finish what you started.
Parkinson says this about American jobs and the hardworking men and women who rely on those paychecks to send their children to college, to rise up, to go from the poor class to the middle class to the wealthy class and be productive citizens in the U.S.
Mr. President, step up. Do more. You've helped, but let's finish it. Let's get this place fired back up. Thank you all for being here today.
Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski is pleased with Nippon's abrupt reversal of now saying Granite City Works will continue receiving slabs and will not be going to Alabama.
To hear that slabs were going to be rerouted to a facility in Alabama and away from Granite City was a clear violation of the agreement that was made with the sale of Nippon. So we pushed back.
Congresswoman Budzinski says that was a violation of the deal, and that's why U.S. Steel ended up walking it back, and slabs will be coming to Granite City. Now, that Alabama facility is non-union. Budzinski is now pushing for Granite City to receive a portion of the $14 billion sale of U.S. Steel to Nippon. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 7:35.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
At 7:36, your money report is sponsored by UC Bank.
Good morning. Modest advances sent all three major stock averages to record highs on Friday. The gains range from 0.4% to 0.7%. A key inflation reading and a speech by Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, they're among the things investors are waiting for this week. Economists think the inflation gauge favored by the Fed eased some last month. That could give policymakers some breathing room to deal with the softening job market. Powell will speak tomorrow in Rhode Island. Several other Fed officials will be heard from this week. Technology firms and some other companies got word to employees with H-1B visas who were traveling overseas to get back to the U.S. on Saturday. Friday announcement from the White House that there would be a $100,000 application fee for the visa program caused a lot of confusion. The Trump administration has since clarified that the fee only applies to new visas, not renewals or current holders. And Sony Pictures animation film Demon Slayer was the #1 movie for a second weekend in a row. ComScore estimates ticket sales for Friday through Sunday topped $17 million. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision. This is the Create Great Jobs vision. This is the We Need More Space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations. Through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future. Because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. UC Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
On the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
It's now 7:38. It's Total Information AM. I want to tell you a little bit about football. I want to tell you how I like to play football. I like to play it with the Underdog app. It's really easy to use. Now, I was actually just looking at the Underdog app on my phone. Sorry for the distraction, but it's really a great way to play. I look at this and I see Derrick Henry tonight, 0.5 rushing and receiving touchdowns. I am definitely going higher on that. I see Jahmyr Gibbs, 56.5 rushing yards. I'm kind of in between on that one, probably going higher on that as well. Lamar Jackson, passing plus rushing yards, 282.5. He's so explosive. I could see that happening as well. Now, there are other NFL packs that you can scroll through. They call them Monday Night Madness, Monday Night Monsters. There's baseball you can play as well. It's Underdog. It's a great way to play. There's so many people doing it right now that you should get on board. It's really easy. You don't even have to be a sports fan. You just download the Underdog app on your phone and you can play and you can win big, win money. Now, remember to use the promo code TOM. That's very important. That's going to get you some extra bonus cash I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. But football is back. Underdog is the place to play. You can play it here in Missouri. You just go higher or lower on stats. It is that simple. Download the app, sign up with promo code TOM. You'll score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Celebrate the month of September with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning as well. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of these huge savings. Spell it forward, spell it backwards. Always spells the same. Zero Res.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, focusing on the Siteman Kids program at St. Louis Children's Hospital and Dr. Mohammed Abdul-Baki.
We have a large global program that people do not know about, thinking this is St. Louis in the center of the country, and we get consulted on a large number of international consults.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It is now 7:41. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, this traffic reports a service on McKelvey Homes, Debbie. Eastbound Highway 70 is a little slow. TR Hughes to 79, Earth City in toward the Rock Road. South 270 bogs down. South of Dorset down to Ladue, 64 really. North 270 is your ramp on from 55 all the way up to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 64 through Prospect opening up as you approach the boulevard. Andy Guns through Clarkson's heavy. East of Lindbergh, a couple of pockets to the inner belt. Westbound 64 west of Hampton headed out through Hanley slow. South 170 a couple of slowdowns. South of Olive. Eastbound 30 backed up from almost West Watson to 270. Northbound 55 the right lane's a little slow at Butler Hill. All lanes Union Road overpass up to River to Pear and downtown. Westbound 64 just a little heavy approaching the Poplar. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan of McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Let's get over to weather. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Looks like that rain has moved out for now.
It has, and it looks like most of the rest of today is going to be rain-free. A spotty shower, a lot of clouds now. I do think we'll end the day with some sunshine. Our high temperature will get up to about 81. Tonight starts out partly cloudy, but then the next disturbance moves toward us late tonight with some clouds and a low in the mid-60s. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm later in the day. I think the morning hours are fine. The morning commute should be fine. The high about 81. A cooler day on Wednesday. Lots of clouds, some showers, and a thunderstorm. Probably the most active active and wettest day of the entire week with a high of 74. This upper level trough of low pressure will hang around into Thursday with clouds and sunny breaks and a couple of showers, the high 77. That moves to our east on Friday, allowing us to see more sunshine. Should be a nice finish to the week with a high about 77 right now.
Question will
going to be pretty
be,
good this weekend.
how long?
67 degrees right now in St. Peter's, 67 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, 68 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:43, and President Trump was praising Charlie Kirk's life, but he also spoke at the memorial about his plans to make a big announcement about autism.
The Oval Office and the White House about autism, how it happens, so we won't let it happen anymore, and how to get at least somewhat better when you have it.
The president and Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz, administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, will apparently be joining him for this announcement.
Taylor Swift fans will be hightailing it to movie theaters next month.
Get the invite?
Hey, it's Taylor. I want to invite you to the official release party of A Showgirl.
Lots of people have, and they're saying yes to Taylor Swift's massive bash for her new album.
See the exclusive world premiere of the Fate of Ophelia music video.
AMC theaters will screen an almost 90-minute show across the country from October 3rd, the day the disc drops, through the 5th. Swift says it'll include new music and behind-the-scenes footage from the production of Life of a Showgirl. Deadline reports last-minute bookings racked up $15 million in their first 24 hours of sale. They're expected to bring in a total of up to $50 million. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Plans to renovate the historic Ozark Theater in Webster Groves into a theater and art space have been abandoned for now. It was the vision of attorney Jim Onder, who now claims there were no major theater groups interested in using the facility. He tells the Post-Dispatch a $4 million renovation is on hold until he finds a tenant. The theater had been vacant for several years before Onder bought it. His law firm is across the street.
Off the field, and Nolan Gorman will come out to take the spot at third as Arenado tips his cap to the crowd at Busch Stadium.
Nolan Arenado walking off the field at Busch Stadium, perhaps for the last time as a Cardinal. As he was honored yesterday, Ollie Marmol put him in the lineup last minute, then took him out before the first pitch. Also recognized yesterday John Mozeliak in his final home game as president of baseball operations. Mozeliak is moving on after 30 years in the organization. As the Cardinals go, it's been an interesting ride here over the last few years. Heavy criticism has come Mozeliak's way. I found this interesting. This is Bernie Miklasz speaking on Sports on a Sunday Morning with me yesterday.
Well, the thing to me, and I'll try to be quick here, I'm looking at the two, like a new era about to open and the previous era closing officially, at least in terms of the final home game for John Mozeliak. Despite, look, I've been tough on him the last few years, but despite some of the bad times down the stretch, this guy came to the Cardinals in 1995, and he was a big part of one of the great eras of St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And, okay, the last 3 years have not been good. I'm not trying to excuse it. But my gosh, when you look at the last 30 years, how many baseball franchises have won to this level? The Cardinals are like a top 3, top 4 franchise over a 30-year period. But yet locally, like 90% of the attention is about how they've been lousy the last 3 years. And I think that's a shame, because I think there's a time and place where you recognize someone who played a valuable role in making the Cardinals so prominent. All kinds of great trades. They don't win the 2011 World Series or the 2013 NL pennant without moves made by John Mozeliak. Getting Goldie and Arenado for nothing, basically. I mean, I could talk for 3 hours about all the trades, but now soon the baton will be handed to Chaim Bloom, and a whole new era begins. And I'm excited because nobody wants to hear rebuild, but it's necessary. And this is the ideal guy to lead it. So I'm excited about a new era beginning. But before the new era begins, let's make sure to give all the credit that John Mozeliak has earned over 30 years. Not just the last 3 years. What about the first 27? I think the first 27 matter than the last 3, right?
Bernie Miklasz on Sports on a Sunday Morning yesterday. Cardinals won. They beat the Brewers 5-1, but the Brewers celebrated later because the Cubs lost, giving Milwaukee the NL Central title. How about the state of Ohio right now? They are in the thick of it. You got the Cincinnati Reds tied with the New York Mets for that final wild card spot in the National League in this last week. And the Reds have the head-to-head tiebreaker between the two. And the Guardians once trailed Detroit by 15.5 in the AL Central. That lead is down to 1. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, so first win of the season, beat the Giants 22-9 last night. Bears picked up their first win, blasting the Cowboys 31-14. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Get ready, because here they come.
1, 2, 3, 4!
It's Beatlemania all over again with the Fab Four, the ultimate tribute to the Beatles. Entertainment Tonight says seeing the Fab Four is just like seeing the Beatles. The Fab Four takes you through the 60s with the music that changed our lives. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Saturday, October 4th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
And the Lovin' Spoonful.
Do you believe in magic?
Saturday, October 25th at the Family Arena with the Hollies' greatest hits, starring Terry Sylvester. Get tickets now at the Carroll House Furniture box office, located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon and the Lovin' Spoonful.
Hey guys, Glover here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is the perfect season to tackle those home improvement projects before the weather turns cold. And if your windows are old, drafty, or just plain inefficient, now's the time to finally do something about it. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no limit whether you need 4 or 14, you only pay for half. And to make it even easier, you'll get 0% financing for 3 years, so no interest, no pressure. So don't wait for the first freeze to realize your windows aren't cutting it. Call 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com.
The KMOX City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra, is back. Next stop, Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill in Fenton, Thursday, September 25th. A limited number of fans can get an autograph with City SC player Thomas Ostrak. Register to win great prizes, enjoy great food, and cold drinks. Hot Shots in Fenton, the place to be Thursday, September 25th from 6 till 8 p.m. for the City SC Soccer Showcase, presented by Michelob Ultra. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get you a check of traffic and weather. We have had rain this morning. You may encounter wet roadways. Just keep that in mind. The forecast is on the way. But first, here's Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, it hasn't been a terrible morning, Debbie. We still have some slow traffic, and as far as I can tell, there's no change downtown with IDOT, with the left lanes eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar Street Bridge being closed. You have the right lane zone. It is eastbound. Westbound's barely slow at the bridge, so that's good to see. Northbound 55, you've got a backup right as you get in to the about Bayless up the river to Pear, pretty solid. North 270, slow from south of Gravois, but it goes all the way up to about Ladue. South 270, Dorset, down to about Olive, but then it's picking up the pace at the front end. Eastbound Highway 70, still kind of busy east of the Blanchette Bridge into the Rock Road. Eastbound 64, Annie Guns through Clarkson, almost Timberlake. East of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's still slow from about Olive down to 64. Westbound 64, west of Hampton to Hanley is kind of busy right now. Eastbound 30, a backup from Mauer up to 270. That's pretty solid. Telegraph between Baumgartner and Forder looks better if you're headed that way. And we had a vehicle fire southbound, just south of the Clark Bridge. Traffic's jammed back to Landmarks Boulevard right now. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, Joe Lundberg says mostly cloudy and humid today with a high of 81. That rain is behind us now. We could see some tomorrow, an afternoon stray thunderstorm, says Joe. Otherwise, humid overnight, humid most of the day tomorrow with a cloudy sky. He said we might see the sun by the end of today, but then a cloudy day tomorrow. Wednesday, cloudy, not as warm. A couple of showers and thunderstorm. Wednesday's highs only 74 degrees. Currently cloudy and 66 downtown.
The news continues at 7:52. President Trump suggested St. Louis might be the next city to which he deploys the National Guard. Kara Spencer, the mayor, was asked how they could help fight crime.
In the DC area with regards to community cleanups and that sort of thing, those missions would be welcome here and certainly are needed in our community and would absolutely help provide a path to safer communities.
In a statement to KMOX, Governor Kehoe said there are no plans in place to bring the National Guard to Missouri, adding that he is keeping his options open.
It appears a St. Louis investor wants to test the city's new rules on data centers.
TriStar Properties wants to turn the Armory into a data center. The Armory is the sprawling former National Guard building off 64 near Grand. It was an event and entertainment complex before closing a year ago. It's currently owned by Green Street, but Thomas has signed an option to buy the Armory. According to the newspaper, he's also filed plans with the city to build a second data center on the Armory parking lot. The city now requires a conditional use permit for any data center. These things have drawn opposition around the country for taking up too much space, using too much energy, and not employing enough people. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
Police in Maryland Heights are investigating an attack on the Fifi Greenway. It happened Saturday morning just before 9. Police didn't disclose whether the victim was injured, but say the assailant did not use a weapon. They're asking anyone who might have been on the trail Saturday morning to call police if they saw anything. The suspect's described as a white man in his late 20s, early 30s, who was wearing a dark jacket, khaki shorts, and a baseball cap.
2 men are facing multiple felony charges after they were caught stealing from a tornado-damaged building. 49-year-old DeAndre Smith and 34-year-old Rathan Robinson were arrested earlier this month at a vacant apartment building on Savoy Court. St. Louis police say the two were caught in the act of stealing copper piping. The building was heavily damaged by a tornado in May, and the police department says these types of thefts are delaying recovery efforts for the area.
A new statewide special police unit is focusing on drugs and dangerous drivers.
You could call them stormtroopers like from Star Wars. 23 highly trained Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers have been selected to head up the strategic traffic operations and rapid mobilization. Police dogs, drunk driving experts, aggressive driving specialists, and drug and weapon interdiction officers. Even motorcycle cops are all part of the new highly trained team.
Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Stuart with the Star Wars theme to that story. 7:55. This is Total Information AM. We'll check traffic in 3 minutes.
AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It has been such a pleasure over the last, I think it's 5 years now, to partner with St. Louis Public Library on our chat group that we have on Facebook. It's Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. We have about 1,600 plus members now. Once a month, I do a live author interview, and we've had some superstars over the last 5 years for sure. This month, it was Leah Holter, who you may know better as Made by Leah. She has the bakery in Florissant, a cookbook of the same name. She was, of course, TLC's Next Great Baker. So she shared her story with us. You can see that if you join Book Chat, and it's obviously free to join. They've got copies of that cookbook in the library, but I think they've got about 15 copies and there's holes on them because it's a great cookbook. Anyway, just one of the many things that St. Louis Public Library can offer us, including all kinds of downloads from the privacy of your own home. You don't even have to head to Central Library or any of the neighborhood branches, but why wouldn't you want to? They do a fantastic job. Beautiful libraries, great librarians, just an incredible part of our community. They are St. Louis's original search engine, St. Louis Public Library, slpl.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have a little bit of a backup coming out of Alton right now, coming off Landmarks Boulevard across the Clark Bridge near Riverlands Way is where we had an earlier vehicle fire. It may have been a crash and a fire, but I know they talked about the vehicle being on fire. So just be advised, there's still restrictions there. Still restrictions downtown. Eastbound, the left pair of lanes still reportedly closed at the Illinois end of the Poplar from an earlier crash. Haven't got the all clear from IDOT, but the right lanes are open. You can get around it okay, and there's no delay westbound, which is nice to see. Eastbound 70, Earth City into the Rock Road's heavy. South 270, Dorset to 364, a little slow. North 270, Gravois all the way up to Ladue busy. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Eastbound 64, some heavy traffic coming through the Chesterfield Parkways and again east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 city limits to Hanley and Lindbergh out to Ballas is slow. Eastbound 30 jammed at Mauer. 55 between Bayless and River to Pears heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Monday, September 22nd. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Meet a young woman whose family history means she could develop an aggressive form of Alzheimer's before she turns 40.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Megan Lynch follows us. Most parents don't want their kids using AI chatbots.
We'll check in on the United Way's annual community campaign, even more critical this year with the organization.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Lots of clouds and humid today with some showers and a thunderstorm mainly through the morning hours, the high 81.
I'll be back at noon with Chris Ranji for the Gas House Gang. Cardinal baseball tonight, a late one, 8:45 start in San Francisco.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 8 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is teasing a major announcement today on autism and its causes.
Because obviously there was something really wrong, and we think we know what that is. It's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the most important news conferences I'll ever have, and I look so forward to it.
Washington Post says the administration will tie autism to pregnant women who take Tylenol. That's something leading doctors' organizations have disputed. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
The best recent study looked at 2.5 million kids from Sweden. They used sibling comparisons to factor out genetic factors and other factors, and they found no increase in risk in autism, ADHD, or other intellectual disabilities.
The president spoke at a memorial for conservative activist Charlie Kirk before a packed crowd at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Kirk's widow, Erica, vowed to carry out her husband's mission and said she has forgiven his assassin.
The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love.
During his tribute, President Trump said he hates his political opponents. The Israel-Hamas war will take center stage when world leaders meet at the UN General Assembly in New York. That starts today. Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
The U.S. and Israel will both boycott the summit, according to Israel's UN ambassador Danny Danon, who said the event is not helpful and is rewarding terrorism. He spoke after the UK, Canada, Portugal, and Australia all announced on Sunday that they formally recognize a state of Palestine, with 6 more countries set to follow Monday.
There's talk President Trump could broker a deal to limit North Korea's nuclear weapons.
On Sunday, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said he'd be willing to negotiate with President Trump, but only if the U.S. drops its demand that the North denuclearize. Now, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung, speaking through an interpreter, has said that if Trump could get Kim to agree to a temporary freeze of his nuclear weapon production.
As an emergency interim measure, yes, I can agree to that.
Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
A new risk assessment by the Carnegie Endowment finds the world is at a major inflection point when it comes to slowing the spread of nuclear weapons. CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland.
We measure our concerns about the devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki
we have to always keep in mind that those, in comparison to the weapons available today, were really tiny.
He says the possibility of a conflict escalating to the use of nukes is very, very close. Dow futures down 200. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Monday, September 22nd. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch. Illinois' controversial gun ban goes back to court today.
An appeals court will hear oral arguments from the state as to why the law should remain in place. The opposition is none other than the U.S. Department of Justice. The feds agree with a district court last year that called the ban unconstitutional. The law passed 2 years ago, banning dozens of semi-automatic weapons and high-capacity magazines. It also required owners of the guns at the time to register them. Whatever the outcome at this appeals level, the case is still expected to end up at the Supreme Court. Scott Jagal, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Police say shots were fired at their officers in the 1600 block of Hampton this morning. Before 7 o'clock, officers returned fire. The suspect was not injured and is in custody. No officers were hurt.
Look at the solidarity we have in this room. Look at what we've accomplished today. Look what we got back overnight.
Granite City Mayor Mike Parkinson has a message for President Trump. KMOX's Brad Choate was at this weekend's rally after Nippon reverses course and says slabs will be going to Granite City.
It's time for you to step up and do more, right? We want you to be that leader. We want you to come here and meet with the workers, with these local politicians, Democrats and Republicans working together for jobs in the United States. We want you to come here and meet with us.
Mayor Parkinson continued by saying President Trump has met with corporate people, but not with U.S. steelworkers and the people of Granite City.
We have to really get back to obsessing about literacy, about numeracy.
His name is Ted Dabrowski, a conservative researcher who wants to be the next Republican governor of Illinois. And one of his big concerns, the low literacy rates among students in Illinois.
That means, getting parent engagement again, having high expectations. We've gotten away from high expectations. We've gotten away from focusing on reading and math, and we're doing all kinds of things in schools that have nothing to do with learning, that have more to do with indoctrination and cultural issues.
Dabrowski has already a lot of competition. There are 4 other Republicans who have announced their candidacy, including Darren Bailey, former state senator and nominee for governor in 2022. Will National Guard troops be coming to St. Louis?
Governor Mike Kehoe, in a statement to KMOX, says there is no plan currently to utilize the National Guard to address crime in Missouri, but is keeping their options open. Mayor Kara Spencer says she does not want to see the National Guard involved directly in crime fighting.
I am very confident in our police department and the work that we're doing here locally to make our city a safer place. You can see that that's been very effective by the crime stats.
Mayor Kara Spencer says if they are deployed here, they would help make St. Louis safer by assisting in the tornado debris removal. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Last week, President Trump said he's considering deploying the National Guard to St. Louis after sending troops to Memphis. He mentioned Memphis, Chicago, and St. Louis as cities he wanted to save. KMOX continues following developments with the Jefferson County Council poised to pass a law temporarily banning swimming in the Big River at Rockford Beach.
It has taken several years and deaths to come to this point. This year, there was 1 drowning and 3 near drownings. Something High Ridge Fire Chief John Barton tells KMOX needs to happen.
The ban that was discussed before was a permanent ban, and we weren't necessarily even opposed to that, but that's not what we were advocating for from a public safety standpoint. A couple years later, there's now some projects underway with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and there's a pretty good chance that that will result in that dam being removed.
And Barton adds, the hope is that will change the river conditions enough so that Rockford Beach can be as safe as a river can be. Tonight, the Jefferson County Council is expected to advance the bill for passage. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Last week, we brought you behind the scenes of the Schnook family buying up Wisconsin's hometown grocery. So what could be next for the St. Louis-based privately held Schnucks? Our Michael Calhoun asked renowned retail analyst Bert Flickinger.
Conventional wisdom would be that it'd be difficult for, an independent, one market kind of family-owned grocer to go up against the Walmarts of the world. But Schnucks has held out. Are they kind of the last one standing when it comes to that bracket?
Michael, you're completely correct. Schnucks is the proverbial last of the Mohicans. Why is that relevant to retail and important? Schnucks has got one of the best combinations of family management and professional management anywhere in retail in the U.S. and Canada, and we cover every country and every major market.
Flickinger says Schnucks is also one of the most successful unionized retailers. He doesn't think they're done. He zeroes in on Coburn's of Minnesota and Heinen's of Ohio as potential next acquisitions for the Schnucks family. It's 8:08. We'll get a check of the roads coming up next.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. So happy to be back. E3, the 3 E's stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them, because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business, reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things are rolling on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, it looks like they just cleared a stall. It was in the left lane. It looks like they may be has it out of the left lane now. It was north 270 just before 44. Traffic's still a little slow north of Gravway up to it. There's still a backup through the Marshall Road Big Bend area. Then it's just slow all the way up to Ladue. If you're coming in on eastbound 70, there's still some heavy traffic. 270 into the Rock Road. Eastbound 64, still slow east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64 from about McCausland out to Hanley, slow, a little busy, Spady, Ballas area. South 170 just bogged down in about Brentwood, so that's better as well. If you're coming up northbound on 55, you just got some heavy traffic, Bayless up to River to Pear. Downtown, it still looks like there's no change. Eastbound 64, those left lanes at the Illinois end of the Poplar still closed from the earlier crash. The right lanes are open, and westbound traffic's fine coming into downtown through there. And it looks like they cleared up that car fire southbound 67 south of the Clark Bridge as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Coming up, you're going to hear from a family who faces Alzheimer's before they even turn 40. First, though, let's get a check of the forecast. Here's Joe Lundberg.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly cloudy and humid today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, especially this morning, and particularly from the city on south and east, our high 81. It'll be humid tonight, partly cloudy early, then turning cloudy again late, low 66. Mostly cloudy and humid tomorrow, a stray afternoon thunderstorm, high 81. For Wednesday, cloudy and not as warm with a couple of showers, even a thunderstorm, high 74. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We do have cloudy skies right now, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Imagine being 24 years old and living with the knowledge that you may start to develop an aggressive form of Alzheimer's disease before you even turn 40. That's the reality for Hannah Richardson.
My family has a rare form of genetic Alzheimer's, dominantly inherited. It's been in my family for many generations. My great-grandmother was the first person that we know of to pass from it. She had 5 children. 4 of the 5 got it. One of them was my grandfather. So he passed when my mom was a teenager. And when I was a kid, we found out my mom had the gene as well, and so did one of her 2 brothers. My uncle who had it passed away a year ago, and my mom is living with it currently. And they're pretty moderate, going into severe stages, I guess. I have 2 siblings. We all have a 50% chance of inheriting that gene, which is a really scary reality, you know. So Alzheimer's has always been at the forefront of my life because of that.
Hannah invited me into her home to tell me more about what her family faces. So you were, I understand, 12 when your mom was diagnosed?
Yes, I was 12 years old when we found out she was positive for the gene. I always tell people it was really, I think, at the time, it was hard to grasp that. I mean, it's hard for a 12-year-old to understand what that really means. But I'd been around it a lot. I think I just knew my mom was going to die. I didn't know to what extent that meant, what it was going to look like. It was really scary. But my mom kind of took that and turned it into this push towards advocacy and volunteer work. I think that was her way of coping with it. She didn't want to just lay down and let it ruin her and make her like unmotivated. And she had children to take care of and a life she wanted to live. And so she jumped into advocacy work. She joined the Alzheimer's Association, was a congressional advocate. She helped plan the local walk in the town we lived in Alabama, got really involved doing like media outreach, stuff like that, trying to advocate.
What were those early years like when she was first diagnosed?
Well, she found out she had the gene, but she wasn't symptomatic, and she was asymptomatic for a while, actually. I think I moved away to St. Louis here for college, and she's back home in Alabama. I would say around the time I started college, I started noticing symptoms when we talk on the phone, when I FaceTime her. My 2 siblings still were at home. And then during COVID happened my freshman year of college, so I actually went back home for 1 year and lived there. And that was kind of a reality check for me, seeing those symptoms that I kind of had just acted like they weren't real, being far away. And that was like 5 years ago. She's been symptomatic since then, progressing pretty quickly with dominantly inherited early onset. We have the PSEN1 gene, which is the more aggressive gene of the 3 there are. So it moves pretty quickly. My uncle was symptomatic for probably 6-7 years before he passed. But I mean, it was kind of like it wasn't real for a long time. We just knew it was happening, and we knew that that's what I wasn't seeing those symptoms. And then all of a sudden one day it was just like smack there in front of your face, you know? And it's hard because she's not who my mom is in my head. She's not the same person. So it's hard to see that and sit with that and talk to her. And I live far away, so I don't want to just not talk to her and not be a part of her life. It's really hard being far away. So I call her every week, multiple times a week, but it can be hard talking on the phone because you do see those changes, and it's a hard reality to sit with.
Talk about when a loved one starts showing symptoms and signs that it is progressing.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you're around them a lot, it's hard to see it versus being not around them. So for me, not being home, I think when I do go home, it's a very severe change from when I last saw her. That may not be the same day to day for people who live with someone that's dealing with Alzheimer's disease, but it's very quick. It starts off with small things, just like misplacing something or forgetting like a small detail about something you told them, until it becomes telling the same story to you that they told you 5 minutes ago, or asking the same question 6 times in an hour because they forgot what the answer was. And that's when it gets kind of hard because it's you can't deny it anymore. You can't act like it's not happening.
What are your conversations like when you talk to her?
Well, my mom is a big cat lover. We talk about cats a lot. She has 2 cats, and she loves to show them to me on FaceTime and tell me about what they've been doing all day. Nowadays, she talks about what shows she's watching. She really loves watching like documentaries and stuff. So she's always watching different true crime documentaries. We talk about that. She lives with my grandmother now. She just moved in with her over the summer because she couldn't live alone anymore. And sometimes they butt heads, so I hear about that as well. But they're usually just like day to day, like, how was your day? What have you done today? And like vice versa. And then usually repeating that again like 10 minutes later, but that's okay, you know. Just being thankful I get to still talk to her. That's all that matters.
How hard is it to prepare yourself? Or do you just not try to worry about it?
I mean, I feel like I've been preparing myself for like since I was 12 years old. I actually, when I was in college, I saw a grief counselor because I had this like crazy like breakdown when I turned 18. I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is the reality of it. And my mom was starting to show symptoms, and I was going to have to like go to school and pick a career knowing I had the same reality awaiting me potentially. And that's really hard because I wanted to go to medical school when I was in college, and that's a big financial and time commitment. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend all this money and time if I'm just going to die once I get there. It's not worth it. Kind of like breakdown. So I saw a grief counselor, and I still see a therapist, and it's kind of just been grief before death. And it's like, you are grieving someone even if they're still around, and that's kind of hard.
Hannah and her siblings are participating in research at Washington University. In fact, a Wall Street Journal article about their family led to a $3 million donation to further those clinical efforts.
One is a senior in college. His name is Jacob, and my sister Riley is a sophomore in college. We've all had many discussions about it, about if we want to be involved in research and if we want to find out our genetic status and what we want to do like for families and stuff like that, because it's hard to want to plan to have a family knowing you have the chance of passing it on to someone else if you're positive. And that's a really difficult decision to sit with. I mean, we kind of have all made a pact a long time ago when we were teenagers that we would never have children if we were positive for the gene. We would all find out before we decided to have a family because we wanted it to end with us. We wanted this to be the last generation of this. No one in our family, we didn't want to give it to anybody else. I personally have not learned my genetic status, but I'm involved in a research trial at WashU, and eventually to continue, and I will have to find out. And both my siblings are registered to enter into it once they like kind of get through registering everybody. So I know at some point all of us will find out in the near future, but I don't think any of us are seeking that out right now.
Yeah, because I think that would make things very different, wouldn't it?
It would be a hard thing to sit with and just know you have that this is like an impending doom that's going to get you. You have no way to escape it. It's really scary. And I mean, even though I don't know my status, I have a 50-50 chance. I'm kind of a pessimist. I think in my head, I'm always telling myself, oh, well, with your luck, you're going to have it. And it's not worth it. It's been really hard trying to like get out of that mindset and still try to pursue a career and do my day-to-day life and want to like have like goals and dreams and things I want to pursue with that like naggingness in your head, knowing that could be your fate, but I that's part of why I sought out a grief counselor and was trying to work through it with a therapist.
Hannah Richardson is part of the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's. Her team is called the Forget-Me-Nots.
When I was a kid and I saw my mom involved, I thought maybe, this is going to be it. It's going to help cure her. It's going to help bring a cure for me and my siblings when it's our time. And now as an adult, I know that maybe isn't the reality for her. Maybe it won't be the reality for me and my siblings, but one day what all of us are doing is going to contribute to saving someone's life and stopping them from experiencing the monster that's Alzheimer's disease. And that is more important than anything.
You can find out more about the walk at alz.org/walk. It's 8:20. Let's get you to work. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we got a little trouble out to the west of us on Highway 70 right now. This traffic reports the service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. It's a crash westbound 70 at Forestel. Right now, the lanes are shut down, both lanes, as they work to clear. Westbound 70 is jammed about midway back to David Hochul Parkway. Not quite, but it's pretty close. If you're headed that way, just be prepared. Traffic's not getting through, at least not at this time. Eastbound Highway 70, 270 to the Rock Road's a little heavy. North 270, about Big Bend up to Ladue. That's still slow. Eastbound 64 still busy from Lindbergh through the Innerbelt. The Innerbelt a little heavy at 64. Northbound 55, barely busy from Weber up to River de Pere and downtown. We're clear across all the bridges. Are you considering life insurance? Penn Mutual's accelerated client experience makes applying for life insurance fast and easy. Ask your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy, humid today. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm with a high of 81. Currently 67 with clouds downtown at the Arch.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. I've worked with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano for more than 30 years. Their guidance and assistance with my estate planning and legal documents gives me the peace of mind that I have the retirement I've worked for and always dreamed of. And I'm playing it fully with my grandchildren, volunteering, and traveling worldwide. I play confidently knowing my estate is secured in any event. You can get your estate secured with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano too. Visit their website, yourestateMatters.com, and download their free webinar on how to get started. Then make a free appointment. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. yourestateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be made solely on advertising.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. A new survey finds that 2/3 of parents think their teens are addicted to their phones, and they're especially worried about some of the things that their kids are accessing on those phones. That Teens in Tech survey was conducted by All About Cookies, an online privacy company. I'm joined by their senior content marketer, Josh Cobert, this morning. Josh, thanks for your time.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So you asked parents which social media platforms that they think are most dangerous. I have a list in my mind, but I'm really curious what you heard from those parents.
Yeah, we gave them 9 of the most popular social media platforms and asked them to pick number one. Just tell us which one you think is overall most dangerous. And the clear winner, far and away, the one that parents are most concerned about was TikTok. 38% of all respondents chose TikTok. Number 2 was only 14% of people chose Snapchat at number 2. So that is a huge difference between which one parents find most dangerous to number 2 even.
I'm kind of surprised about that because my son actually got off of Snapchat. He says it's a cesspool. But, and Discord was very low, which I feel like we hear about Discord a lot in connection with some scary stuff, including what recently happened in national headlines.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons for these results is, as much as we have heard of Discord, I think most parents still don't truly understand or have it's a little harder to understand what it is because it is a little bit more complex of a platform. There's a lot more people can do in personalization versus, you can get a quick 2-second explanation for Snapchat is you send a video to a friend and it disappears in a minute. Or TikTok, you see videos that people put up. Like those are a little easier to understand maybe than Discord. And the other element is probably, the government has been talking for years about banning TikTok. It has been not just in the news, but headline news itself, the potential for a ban multiple times in the last couple of years. And it all stems back to the fact that while all of these platforms to some degree collect data, just like TikTok does, they are a foreign company. So they're sort of out of the reach of lawmakers in the U.S., which has been the big concern of the government and is a thing that comes up every time that is in the news. And I think that is maybe stuck in the consciousness a whole lot more among parents than some of these other platforms.
Also in the news, Josh, are these high-profile stories and tragedies involving teens and use of artificial intelligence chatbots. We were just talking about it last week on the program. What did parents tell you about that and their feelings about their kids using AI chatbots?
Yeah, so another element of our survey involved asking parents when they think it's appropriate for kids to access different types of technology, or have their own social media accounts, have a TV in their room, that kind of stuff, have their own cell phone. And one of the questions we asked was, how old do you think your kids should be to use an AI chatbot? And the average answer was 16. So parents think this is as dangerous or as at least something that they need to be responsible the same level of responsibility they need to drive a car is kind of what parents are telling us they think they need to use a chatbot. And even maybe more interesting to me and to maybe your listeners, almost a quarter of the parents who responded said that they think a kid should never, ever, ever use one of these chatbots. 22% chose never as the option. They said, I would never let my kid have it. And I think you're right. It is it's part of it is probably it's an emerging technology. It's very new. Parents have no experience with it because it didn't exist. They've never done it. Their kids are on the frontier just like them. And then, as you mentioned, there's been a bunch of stories of young, impressionable people who are still sort of, their brains are developing. They haven't really figured out how to interact with these things, being very influenced by, again, an emerging technology that is far from perfect. And we're seeing some tragic results as a result. And with those kinds of headlines, it makes total sense for parents to be very wary of this kind of new and emerging tech.
That is Josh Cobert with All About Cookies. Josh, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
It is 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman for Genesis of St. Charles, the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. Genesis of St. Charles, a trusted Genesis dealer, and the all-out sellout has arrived. Genesis of St. Charles, out to break all sales records in September. This month only, receive a $500 gift card with any new vehicle purchase. You want to trade? They're offering more for your pre-owned vehicle than ever before at Genesis of St. Charles. Genesis of St. Charles is located at 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, right off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. You've seen the Genesis of St. Charles dealership from afar. Now it's time for you to go inside. You will find a state-of-the-art facility, luxury service, and Missouri's first and only Genesis dealership. These new models are in stock now at genesisofstcharles.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Let's see if things are getting any better on the roads. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, they're not on westbound 70 right now, Megan. We have this crash westbound 70 at Forestell. Well, they may start. There's a few cars getting by in the right lane now. The left lane's still shut down. They had it all shut down completely just a moment ago, but it looks like a few folks starting to get by in the left or the right lane, westbound 70 at Forestell. Traffic's jammed about midway back to David Hochul Parkway on westbound Highway 70. Eastbound Highway 70, it's a little busy approaching Lindbergh to about Air Flight. Eastbound 64, Lindbergh into the Innerbelt heavy. North 270 approaching Manchester up to Ladue. That's still slow. Northbound 67 approaching Double C, a little busy, but 55 is cleared out. Downtown, we look great westbound across the bridges. This traffic reports the service of financial and tax strategies. Next updated 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like we may have some more showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the morning hours. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly cloudy and humid, a high of 81. Right now, we have clouds 67 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
There's a new assessment of the risk of nuclear conflict. It comes from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, the Nuclear Threat Initiative, and the Harvard Belfer Center. Let's talk about the findings with CBS News military consultant and retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland. Jeff, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Hey, Megan, always a pleasure.
So when we look at this study, how close does it say we are to world events escalating to the point that we might see nuclear conflict?
Well, it certainly suggests that global trends are reviving that particular possibility and the associated security threats. But this is a problem that I think has receded into our concerns after the end of the Cold War. But there are a number of things happening right now that the report points to that suggest we need to look at this more closely. Such things as, of course, the concerns about Iran acquiring nuclear weapons, which resulted recently in a war between Iran and Israel and American airstrikes, growing nuclear arsenal for China, Russian threats to use nuclear weapons in the war in Ukraine, the fact that the New START, the only remaining arms control treaty that restricts the expansion of strategic nuclear weapons between the United States and Russia, is going to expire in about 5 months. There's no ongoing effort to extend that particular agreement, if it could be, or to negotiate a new agreement. And we have a growing nuclear arsenal and threats from North Korea. At the same time, while this is occurring, of course, unbeknownst to think to a lot of Americans, the United States is in the midst of a massive nuclear modernization of all three legs of its nuclear triad. We'll be spending billions and billions of dollars doing that.
I heard you speak earlier this morning about those nuclear arsenals and how much more powerful and sophisticated they are today.
Yeah, exactly. If one thinks back to Hiroshima and Nagasaki of some 80 years ago in 1945, those two weapons were about 14 kilotons, 14,000 tons of TNT in terms of explosive power, and then associated radioactivity. Those actually today would be considered tactical weapons, relatively small. We're talking about weapons now that are in the megaton size, 1 million tons of TNT. Though we only had a handful of nuclear weapons at the time, there's probably about 12,000 in the world at this particular moment between the United States, particularly Chinese, Russians, Brits, French, Israelis. So this is a major concern because even an inadvertent effort by any one of those powers would have dramatic global consequences. For example, a few months ago, you had an ongoing conflict between two nuclear powers, India and Pakistan. Each of them have over 150 nuclear weapons. I've been involved in electronic computer war games that suggest even an exchange of 50 weapons between those two countries would result in millions of dead and over time a nuclear winter in South and Southeast Asia that might deprive agriculture from doing anything for a couple of years, which could result in mass famine in that particular region, a real global concern.
CBS News military consultant, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Megan.
Your Money Report up next.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
8:36, time for your Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. Pfizer has agreed to buy an obesity startup as it tries to get back on track after the failure of its weight loss pill. Bloomberg has learned that the company has purchased Metsera for nearly $5 billion. Metsera is developing a handful of experimental weight loss drugs, including a shot that could be taken less often than the market leaders Wegovy and Zepbound. Nissan has a long-range plan to launch a new version of its ProPilot driver assistance system. The system is developed in partnership with Wave Technologies, which is based in the UK. It will be added to vehicles starting with a fiscal year that ends in March of 2028. Nissan says the technology will help it compete with Tesla's Autopilot. And if you're considering buying a new Xbox video game console, now is the time to get one. The company announced it will hike prices on its Xbox Series X and Series X consoles in a few weeks. Increases will range from $20 to $70. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. I think it's time for a Ted Drew's Concrete, a St. Louis tradition since 1929. Ted Drew's on Chippewa is open daily. They have concretes, they have malts, shakes, sundaes, floats, ice cream, sodas. Quarts are also available. You know, Ted Drew's isn't just a custard stand. It's a fourth-generation, family-run business built on quality, service, and a love for St. Louis. Ted Drew's is so good. Why is that frozen custard so delicious? It's rich and creamy texture, perfected recipe, premium ingredients, and the passion for creating an unforgettable frozen custard experience. Ted Drew's this fall, the Great Pumpkin, a delicious slice of pumpkin pie mixed into Ted's original vanilla custard, topped with whipped cream. Oh my gosh, it's so good. 6726 Chippewa. Ted Drew's frozen custard, unmatched quality, unforgettable taste.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res Carpet Cleaners. So I love the fall. As you know, I've been waiting for fall now. It just seems like for so long. Football, back to school, the crisp air, it's a great time to nest. Zero Res is giving you a great fall offer. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Take $75 off your air duct cleaning. These guys have been to my house a dozen times, maybe more than that. I have pets who aren't great at hitting the spot, and so they keep it really clean for me. Maybe you have pets, maybe you have kids, maybe you just have a family. You know how they do damage to those carpets. We also do couches and chairs and hardwood floors. Or if you're a dentist and you have more than 3 rooms, we're going to make you a great DGS deal. Again, 3 rooms of carpet cleaned at $129, $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Well, if you can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation today. 314-569-1050. Now hiring qualified carpenters. BannerConstruction.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. That's right, weight loss seminar at the Marriott St. Louis West in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
We have cloudy skies, 69 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. President Donald Trump has mentioned billionaires like Rupert Murdoch and Michael Dell could be part of a deal in which the U.S. will take control of TikTok. Japanese automaker Nissan developing vehicles with self-driving technology as it works to turn around its struggling auto business. Coming up on Total Information AM, we're going to look at the United Way of Greater St. Louis's latest campaign. Plus, Julie Smith will join me to talk about some new terms for the information disorder that we are living in. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, trying to wrap up this crash, Megan, on westbound 70 at Forestell. This traffic reports a service at Duke's Mayonnaise, but the right lane is still that's open. They've periodically even been closing the right lane. It looks like they're getting closer to wrapping it up, but there's still a jam midway back to David Hochul Parkway right now on westbound 70. Again, only the right lane's open, but they should be clearing it shortly. Eastbound 70, the Rock Road into Air Flight, there's some slow traffic there. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh to 170's heavy. North 270 from Manchester up most of the way to 64 is busy. There are a couple of backups. Southbound Route 3 around westbound 2 and East Broadway in those roadwork zones as you head down into Granite City. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And that forecast for today, it's going to be hot and humid, cloudy, a high of 81. We could still see a couple of showers and thunderstorms as well. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 69 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
Duke's Country
country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Thanks for listening to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. The United Way of Greater St. Louis's annual community campaign is underway, and joining me now to speak about it is Michelle Tucker, CEO of the United Way of Greater St. Louis. Michelle, thanks for your time this morning.
Oh, gosh, thanks for having me.
You know, I want to start with basics. You know, we hear a lot about the United Way. It's obviously a fixture here in the St. Louis area, but really, what is the United Way and what do you do?
Well, we're actually a 501c3, so we're a nonprofit organization, but we are part of the fabric of the community. We've been helping people for over 103 years. Right now, we support a network of over 160 nonprofits across the region. We refer to them as the safety net of the region. And these are agencies that are in place, in addition to United Way and our services, to help 1 in 3 people across 16 counties. So that's here on the St. Louis side and in Illinois.
So is that part of what this annual capital campaign funds are, those 160 organizations?
You know what it is? Our community campaign, we host it every year. And right now, we have one of the number one fundraising campaigns across the nation as far as United Ways are concerned. And let me tell you, it's because the people in St. Louis come together every year to support one another. And it really makes me feel good to see neighbors helping neighbors.
What's the goal for this year?
We don't have a public goal. Our goal is always to raise as many dollars as we can to help people. And this year is especially important because, you know, we've had so many things challenging us. You know, in addition to just under normal times, 43% of the families needing help with basic needs on a monthly basis. Gosh, we had the storm, the devastating storm that moved through the St. Louis area. And then, you know, there are a lot of cutbacks as far as funding for nonprofits, but we have to keep that safety net strong.
Talk about those efforts that you've been a part of following those May storms.
Oh, gosh. So in response to the storm, we were actually one of the first organizations to just stood up and the resource for crisis calls. And so our 211 hotline, and everybody's probably familiar with just picking up the phone and calling 211, lots of resources available. But the way it works after every storm is that 211 moves into crisis mode and people can call and right away they would know where, you know, shelter is, where they could maybe connect to hotel vouchers and food and all of the necessary items. After they call 911, they call 211, and we have so many resources available. And the other thing that we did was we have something called spontaneous volunteers. And so volunteers, and St. Louis always shows up this way. They can sign up when they want to help after a disaster. And so we had hundreds of people just at the ready signed up to go in and help as soon as things were safe. And then the last thing we did, we made sure we stood up a storm relief fund because we knew that resources and dollars would be necessary in order for us to respond to the type of devastation we were seeing. So we've been able to put about $2.5 million. We did that within the first probably 6 to 8 weeks of the storm back into the community to help people.
You mentioned a percentage of people that need help on a regular basis. And I think you said over 40%.
I did.
Wow.
So let me explain that. So 43% of the families in the regional area struggle to meet basic needs on a monthly basis. Now, that does not mean that you are going to look up and see, you're not going to be able to recognize the people, right? And these are people that are maybe living on the bubble. It means that they are one challenge away from needing to make a choice we don't want them to have to make. So it's a choice between like paying for maybe the copay on the medication and trade that off for, having to make a car repair or child care expenses. And so we don't want people to have to make choices like that. If they need just, help over a hump, then they can call 211. And we have 28,000 resources at our fingertips that we can try and help to navigate people to just kind of navigate through a challenge.
Michelle, you mentioned the number that people can call for help, but where do they reach out if they want to help and contribute to the community campaign?
They can go to helpingpeople.org. That's helpingpeople.org if they want to learn more about United Way or contribute to our community-wide campaign. And the other thing they can do if they want to volunteer, they can always find volunteer opportunities at stlvolunteer.org.
That is Michelle Tucker, CEO of the United Way of Greater St. Louis. Michelle, thank you so much for your time this morning and good luck with that campaign.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Coming up next on Total Information AM, Julie Smith is going to join me. There is so much mis and disinformation out there in our world today that there are new terms for it. She's going to discuss just a few coming up.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
So I actually had a really scary moment last week. I had to run out of the station because I was having problems with my eyesight. Thank goodness that I already go to Ophthalmology Associates. Dr. Greg Birdie literally got me in within hours to make sure that there wasn't a more serious problem. They ran me through all the tests. They looked at the inside of my eyes to make sure that the problem that I was having wasn't more extreme. And fortunately, it was not. It's just part of old age. So I was glad to have that assurance. And that's what you can have when you call Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, or go to youridoc.com. Ophthalmology Associates has the latest technology to see inside your eyes and detect issues without discomfort. The tests that they put me through were nothing. You're just looking through some equipment. You may have to adjust a little bit, but it's nothing that's painful or uncomfortable. And their staff is the best. They're calm, collected, and they guide you through the process wonderfully. Call 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com. It's Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer, Ophthalmology Associates.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm a plumber and needed to get work in the door.
So business was going down the drain?
Yeah, I went to Staples. They printed yard signs, business cards, even flyers to leave at supply stores.
But at what cost, man?
Well, I saved $125 on my order, and now I'm booked solid. Boom!
Back at ya. For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ins 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Be part of the moment as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra returns home to Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Conducted by music director Stefan Deneve. Opening weekend, Fanfare for Powell Hall opens a monumental season with a trio of fanfares featuring Grammy Award winner soprano Joyce DiDonato, composer in residence Kevin Putz, and Richard Strauss's Ein Heldenleben. September 26th, 27th, and 28th. Tickets at slso.org.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra and their monumental tour, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, to Enterprise Center December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. TSO, timeless and everlasting. Don't miss the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve, produced by Live Nation. For more details, KMOX.com/events.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. There is so much disinformation and what's sometimes called information disorder that we continually see new terms for what we are experiencing. Let's get the latest from Julie Smith. She's a Webster University media instructor, international speaker, and author. Julie, thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Talk about some of the latest terms that we are seeing now to try to describe what we're dealing with out there in the disinformation sphere.
It's almost like you need a new dictionary every year, isn't it? A couple of my favorite new words. I really like word camouflage. And what that is when you would use, like if you're typing out a word, you would use the letter 3 instead of an E, so that sometimes any post that might get censored by a platform or flagged by a platform, it gets camouflaged, and so you can continue to use it. I also really like the idea of fire hosing, and that's a propaganda technique where you hear the same message over and over continuously and very quickly, and it comes at you so fast you don't have time to figure out if it's real or not.
Yeah, just tell people the same thing until they believe it, right?
Right. And it comes at you like it's coming out of a fire hose. I also really like this term called sock puppet. And that is when you create multiple accounts just to agree with yourself.
I like that thought, though.
Isn't that great? Yeah. So if you're not sure about how you feel, if you're not sure if your opinion is going to be valued, then just create 20 different social media accounts to like and share and comment on what you posted to make you look brilliant.
I think we need to have a psychologist look at that.
Oh, can you imagine? I think a psychologist could probably
there's
look
more
at
to that.
all of this. Yeah.
The one that I noticed was cyborgs. Hybrid accounts that combine bot automation with occasional human input.
And I think that's really tricky because it's obvious sometimes when an account is a bot, but if you throw in some actual humanity, I think it makes them fly under the radar. And that gets tougher because I think it was last year, the Atlantic magazine says that 52% of the accounts on social media platforms are actually bots. And if some of those accounts throw in a little bit of humanity, I think it makes them much harder to spot.
Especially with the programs out there right now that you can click on to see if something is AI generated or not. And it tells you what the likelihood is that it's AI or human.
Right. And there are also sites where you can plug in like a social media platform username, and it'll tell you if it's a bot. But with a little bit of humanity thrown in there, it might not show up as a bot. So it's extra tricky.
The other thing that I really don't like the name of it, digital humans. It's a conversational type of AI created using state-of-the-art computer-generated imagery. And I guess this kind of is like the virtual influencers, but I don't like calling it a human.
What would be a better term? Let's coin a better term for that right now.
I mean, I think right now, like a lot of us are calling them avatars.
That's what it seems like to me. And we've been creating avatars in our video games for years, right? But it's different when you can have a conversation with them.
Yeah, when you're interacting with them.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that interested you out of this huge list that came out?
Well, I liked the updated form of phishing. Do you remember email phishing? And then there was spear phishing, which would be a fake email that came from someone that you actually knew. Then there was smishing, the weird text that you get about your delivery being delayed or something like that. Now there's vishing with a V because it's voice phishing. So voices are duplicated or imitated on phone scams. So they sound human. They might even sound like someone that you know, and they'll tell you that your taxes are late or there's a problem with your computer or a problem at the bank. And then if you're not really savvy, you're going to give out some proprietary information.
What do we do with all this? I mean, the fact that this information disorder has gotten so great that there's a whole glossary of terms to cover it.
I think what it symbolizes is that we are living in a time where it's impossible to tell what is real, meaningful, valid, and true. And AI is only going to make that more and more difficult, which I think is why we just have to have our antennas up all the time and try to verify everything, which takes time, but totally worth it.
That is media expert Julie Smith joining us this morning on KMOX. Thanks, Julie.
You bet.
It's Monday. It's the first day of fall, and we've got a lot for you. First, Nolan Arenado says it's time for the Cardinals to move on, and Wheel of Fortune is coming to the factory. We've got game show host Mark Wahlberg and Chris Cillizza, political commentator. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I told you earlier this morning about a young woman named Hannah Richardson. She faces a reality because of a genetic predisposition in her family for early onset Alzheimer's that she will develop an aggressive form of Alzheimer's before she even turns 40. And that's why she is part of this year's St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's.
When I was a kid and I saw my mom involved, I thought maybe, oh, well, this is going to be it. It's going to help cure her. It's going to help bring a cure for me and my siblings when it's our time. And now as an adult, I know that maybe isn't the reality for her. Maybe it won't be the reality for me and my siblings. But one day, what all of us are doing is going to contribute to saving someone's life and stopping them from experiencing the monster that's Alzheimer's disease. And that is more important than anything.
You can join Hannah and so many others. More than 3,000 people were part of the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's last year. It was my first year there, a phenomenal event, and I will be there again this year. So I hope you'll join me. It's Saturday, October 25th. Registration opens at 8. Walk starts at 10. And if you want more information, go to alz.org/walk. Again, that's alz.org/walk.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate